You're not chasing money. You're calling it home. Because what's yours was never lost, only waiting for your faith to open the door again. Tonight, we're not begging the universe. We're remembering who we are: divine, magnetic, and already chosen. Money doesn't belong to the few. It belongs to those who believe. And when you speak from that truth, your words become a map. Your energy becomes an address. And prosperity, well, it finds you every single time. So breathe. Let go of the doubt. And remember, money knows your name. Money has your address. And it's already on the way. Now, let's begin. Money never gets lost. It's not wandering through the universe confused about who it belongs to. It knows exactly where you are. It has your energetic signature, your spiritual address, your vibrational coordinates. From the very moment you desired it, it began to move toward you, guided by divine law, not chance. You see, money isn't a pile of paper or a number in a bank account. It's energy. It responds to direction. It travels through vibration. It listens to faith. It cannot be tricked, and it cannot be forced. It can only be invited by the one who knows their own power. Florence Scovel Shinn once wrote, "Nothing stands between man and his highest ideals but doubt and fear." That means money doesn't ignore you, fear does. Doubt blocks the signal. Confusion interrupts the flow. But the moment you step back into faith, into gratitude, into certainty, the signal turns green, and money remembers the way home. Imagine the universe as a great divine postal system. Every word you speak is an address label. Every feeling is a zip code. Every belief is a door number. When your inner world is in harmony with abundance, your mail, your blessings arrive right on time. But if your energy keeps moving from fear to faith and back again, your spiritual address keeps changing. One day it's "I am rich." The next it's "I am worried." And the package? It's still on the truck, waiting for a confirmed location. Money loves order. It moves where there is direction, not confusion. It flows toward calm, not chaos. That's why anxiety delays miracles and peace accelerates them. When you sit in peace and say, "I am provided for," you are setting out the welcome mat for prosperity. Money hears you. It hears faith. It hears gratitude. It hears the tone of someone who expects it. It doesn't respond to panic. It responds to poise. Because money doesn't come to those who chase it, comes to those who know. Think of sunlight. It doesn't have to find the earth simply turns toward it, and the moment it does, the light arrives. So it is with prosperity. It's not lost. It's waiting for you to turn toward it with faith instead of fear. Say quietly to yourself, "Money knows my name. It knows my energy. It knows my home. It knows my heart." You don't need to shout. You don't need to plead. You simply need to remember. Because remembrance is alignment. And alignment is magnetic. You are not hidden from abundance. You are surrounded by it. But you must speak like the one who expects delivery. When you say, "Money has my address," you are declaring to the universe, "I am ready. I am home. I am open to receive." Do not look to the mailbox with worry, look with gratitude. Do not question when it will arrive, rejoice that it's already in motion. Every inspired idea, every conversation, every unexpected opportunity is part of the route your supply takes to reach you. The universe is never late. It is never confused. It is never lost. It is always responding to the clearest signal, your faith. So today, become certain. Anchor your heart in peace. Keep your energy steady. Because money isn't missing. It's moving toward the one who believes. And that one is you. Money has your address, your frequency, your name, and it's already on the way. There are no accidents in a divinely ordered universe. What you call coincidence is simply divine precision wearing a disguise. Nothing shows up by luck, it shows up by law. Every blessing, every dollar, every door that opens, does so under perfect spiritual mathematics. The universe is not emotional, it is exact. It delivers what you believe, not what you beg for. When Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Your word is your wand," she wasn't speaking in poetry. She was describing spiritual physics. Every time you speak with conviction, you set divine law in motion. Your words are blueprints. Your faith is the architect. And the universe? It's the builder that never misses a measurement. So when you say, "Money is coming," the universe doesn't think, "Maybe." It begins its work immediately rearranging people, places, and timing to match your decree. The invisible goes to work before the visible even begins. You see, you're not living in a world of chance. You're living in a world of mirrors. Every thought reflects back as form. Every feeling becomes a magnet. Every word turns into law. If you declare poverty, the law obeys. If you declare abundance, the law obeys. It does not argue, it only executes. That is why Florence said, "Man's word is his wand filled with magic and power. What you speak, you summon. What you affirm, you authorize. What you expect, you experience." The law does not respond to need, it responds to knowing. Need cries, "Please." Knowing declares, "Already done." When you say, "I hope money comes," you speak in the language of chance. But when you say, "Money comes to me now under grace and in perfect ways," you speak in the language of law. And the universe always respects the voice of authority. The divine doesn't operate on maybe. It operates on yes, the yes of your belief. Look around you, the trees don't wonder if they'll grow leaves again. The sun doesn't worry about shining tomorrow. The ocean doesn't panic about its waves. Everything in creation obeys divine order without doubt. So why should your prosperity be any different? Money is not random. It doesn't float through space looking for a victim or a favorite. It follows alignment. It follows law. It follows faith. You are not unlucky, you are law in human form. And when you begin to understand this, life stops feeling uncertain. You no longer chase miracles, you create them. Say this within yourself now. The universe does not gamble with my destiny. It calculates in perfection. Every event that once looked like a delay was only divine timing adjusting itself. Every rejection was a redirection towards something larger. Every pause was a preparation for something perfect. Because divine law does not fail, it fulfills. When you worry about how or when, you step outside of order. When you rest in faith, the law works without resistance. And that's when results rush in quietly, powerfully, unmistakably. You don't have to force the delivery. You simply have to align with it. Think of the universe as the most reliable courier service in existence. It doesn't miss addresses. It doesn't misplace packages. It only waits for confirmation of your belief. Once you say, "Delivered," it moves. Florence Scovel Shinn often reminded her students, "Never voice lack or limitation, for it stops the flow of supply." Your words either open the vault or close it. When you say, "Everything always works out for me," divine law rearranges traffic, timing, and opportunity to make that true. When you say, "I never get ahead," the same law obeys that command too. The universe is not punishing, it is precise. It gives you not what you want, but what you expect. So speak deliberately, expect confidently, and walk as though divine order is already clearing the path, because it is. You are not waiting for luck, you are activating law. And the law of prosperity never sleeps. When you align with it, you become unstoppable. When you trust it, you become magnetic. When you speak through it, your word becomes creation. This is the secret the masters knew. You don't wish, you declare. You don't hope, you command. You don't chase, you align. Because the universe delivers by divine law, not chance. And right now, that law is working for you with perfect precision, in perfect time, and in perfect ways. Florence Scovel Shinn steps onto the stage, calm, radiant, and sure of her words. She looks at the crowd and smiles gently, saying, "My dear ones, you cannot receive while you are rehearsing fear." The audience stills. She continues, "The universe is not deaf, it is direct. It sends to you not what you wish, but what you expect." The vibration of worry says, "I am not ready." But the vibration of faith says, "Delivery confirmed." And that is the essence of divine manifestation. You see, staying in the frequency of receiving isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing peace, even when the outer world looks chaotic. It's about remembering that spiritual truth outranks physical facts. Money doesn't come because you work harder, it comes because you stay open. The universe cannot send blessings to a locked door, and fear is always the lock. Florence would lean closer and say, "Beloved, you have been calling your good, and then sending it away. Every time you declare, 'I am prosperous,' but follow it with, 'But what if it doesn't work?' You have written one order and canceled another. You have placed a divine request, then hit undo with your doubt." The universe never withholds, it only waits for consistency. So she would remind us, stay at your address of faith. Because the delivery is always on the way, but if you move from trust to worry, the package finds an empty house. Let's make this modern, because divine law never goes out of style. Think of your energy like a Wi-Fi signal. Gratitude is full bars. Faith is high speed. Worry? That's airplane mode. You can't download miracles when you've disconnected from your source. So every morning, ask yourself, am I tuned to abundance or to anxiety? When you notice static worry, impatience, comparison, breathe, realign. Say, I am connected to divine supply. I am in perfect reception. My blessings are already in motion. Because, Florence would say, man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. That means you must hold the picture not of lack, but of fulfillment. You must rehearse the feeling of completion, not the panic of waiting. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine your desires are already fulfilled. The bills are paid, the opportunities open, the doors swing wide. Feel it as though it's now. That feeling is the frequency of receiving. You don't beg at that vibration, you bless. You don't chase, you command. You don't ask, when? You affirm, now. Florence often said, faith knows it has already received and acts accordingly. So, act accordingly. Walk with the calm confidence of someone whose order has shipped. When you think of money, don't tense, smile. When you pay a bill, whisper, thank you for the flow. When you see someone else's success, say, I'm next in line for my miracle. That keeps your frequency open, elevated, magnetic. You are not waiting, you are receiving. You are not blocked, you are building momentum. You are not behind, you are perfectly timed. Because the energy of receiving is not passive, it is poised. And here's what Florence would add, with that knowing look in her eyes. Your good is never lost. It may be delayed by doubt, but it cannot be denied. So today, stay in gratitude, stay in faith, stay in peace. Don't watch the clock, watch your consciousness. Every calm breath calls your blessing closer. Every word of thanksgiving widens the channel. The universe has perfect hearing. It heard you the first time. Now it's your turn to stay tuned. Stay in the frequency of receiving, because your prosperity is not on its way. It's already outside, waiting for you to open the door. Florence Scovel Shinn would look at you, eyes bright, voice steady, and say, "The moment you doubt, you have changed your address, and divine supply cannot deliver to the wrong door." Her words strike like lightning because they are true. Every thought, every word, every feeling is part of your energetic address, the location where your blessings are scheduled to arrive. Faith is your street. Gratitude is your number. Peace is your front door. The universe already knows your house, your wealth, your opportunities, your miracles. They are all en route. But what happens when you start worrying? When you say, "It's taking too long"? When you open the door to fear? You've moved. You've shifted your vibration. And now your manifestation courier arrives to find the house empty. Florence would smile and say, "Stay at home in faith, for that is where your good will find you." The truth is, your desire is not lost, it's looking for you. But you must remain in the state that matches its arrival. The universe delivers to vibration, not to location. Let's make this modern. Your energy is like a GPS. You cannot receive what you ordered if you keep turning off your signal. When you say, "I know abundance is coming," the map is active. When you switch to, "Maybe it's not working," you've gone offline. You cannot attract prosperity while transmitting panic. Florence would walk across the stage and declare, "The law of non-resistance is the law of success. What you fight, you feed. What you fear, you attract. What you bless, you multiply." So bless the delay, bless the waiting, bless the unseen movement, because everything is working behind the curtain. Don't chase, don't beg, don't plead. Just hold your ground in knowing. Say this softly: "My supply knows me. My blessings know where I live. I will not move from faith to fear." When you stay in alignment, miracles have no choice but to arrive. Because divine law doesn't respond to timing, it responds to truth. You may not see your manifestation yet, but that doesn't mean it's not on its way. Florence would remind you, never voice lack or limitation, for it stops the flow of supply. If you plant a seed and dig it up every hour to check if it's growing, you delay the harvest. But when you trust the soil, when you water it with faith and sunlight of gratitude, it cannot help but grow. The universe is your soil. Your words are your seeds. Your energy is the climate. Do not change the climate every day. Stay in warmth. Stay in trust. Stay in the certainty that what you have spoken has already been sent. In modern terms, think of manifestation like a message in the cloud. Once sent, it's stored, delivered, tracked. You don't resend it 10 times, you trust the system. You trust the process. Florence would laugh softly and say, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Keep the evidence, your faith, and the substance must appear." So today, stop checking your physical mailbox. Start checking your inner one. Your manifestation arrives first as a feeling, then as a form. Stay home in peace, in gratitude, in faith. Keep your energy address stable. Keep your vibration constant. because your good is not confused. Money knows your door. Opportunity knows your name. Prosperity has your map pinned. Don't move from fear to faith and back again. Stay still and let the universe find you. And when it does, and it will, you'll realize it was never lost. It was always en route. You just had to stop changing addresses. Every word you speak is a coin you drop into the treasury of the universe. Let that settle. You spend words the way others spend money. And just as every coin counts, so does every sentence. Your words do not disappear, they go to work. They are alive. They are intelligent energy, moving through unseen corridors to prepare the visible world for your arrival. When you speak, the universe listens. Not to your effort, not to your worry, but to your word. Florence would say, "Your word is your wand. What you speak, you create." The spoken word is divine law in motion. It is a command that rearranges the invisible. So when you say, "I am ready for prosperity," you are not simply affirming, you are activating. You are sending a vibration through the ethers that says, "Let there be abundance." And the universe replies, "Yes." Your subconscious mind is the divine post office. It receives every spoken word, stamps it with emotion, and delivers it directly into form. If you declare wealth with faith, it delivers wealth. If you declare fear, it delivers lack. It never argues, it only fulfills the order. That's why Florence warned, you cannot afford the luxury of a negative word. You see, in the divine economy, words are currency, and your subconscious is the accountant. Every time you speak with conviction, you make a deposit into your future. Every time you complain or worry, you make a withdrawal. Now, I want you to imagine this. Every I am statement you speak is a check written to the universe. If you say, "I am rich," you've written a divine check for abundance. If you say, "I am always struggling," you've written a check for more struggle. And here's the divine irony: the universe always honors your checks. So, ask yourself, what have you been funding with your words? A life of overflow or a life of overwhelm? A future of miracles or a cycle of fear? Florence would smile knowingly and say, "You are a spiritual millionaire, but you've been spending like a pauper." And that's the truth. Most people spend words carelessly, not realizing that every word is creative power in disguise. You don't have to fight for manifestation, you have to speak it into alignment. Say this softly with me now. My words are sacred currency. Every declaration I make multiplies in divine order. When you begin to treat your speech like money, your entire life changes. You start investing words wisely in peace, in joy, in prosperity. You stop bankrupting your energy with gossip, fear, or doubt. You start speaking as though your every word is law, because it is. Florence often reminded her students that God created the world by speaking, not by striving. He said, "Let there be light," and there was. Creation responded to the word. And because you are made in that same divine image, creation still responds to your word. You don't have to beg the universe. You only have to believe in your own authority. So, when you wake in the morning, speak as a creator, not a survivor. Say, "Today, I command prosperity to find me." When you feel fear creeping in, don't argue with it, override it. Say, "Only good comes to me. I live under grace, and everything works in my favor." Each time you speak in faith, you rewrite your energetic balance sheet. Each time you bless your finances, you raise your spiritual credit. Each time you affirm divine order, you open another channel of supply. Words don't just affirm, they activate. They are the raw material of manifestation, the invisible clay that shapes your reality. So speak richly, speak intentionally, speak with the dignity of someone whose word reshapes worlds. The next time you catch yourself saying, "I can't," stop and restate. Say, "I can, because divine power flows through me." The next time you want to complain, shift to praise. Say, "Something wonderful is happening even now," because in that moment, you are not just speaking, you are creating. Florence would close her eyes, lift her hands slightly, and say with calm joy, "Every word you speak is a seed, and every seed brings a harvest. Guard your garden, speak your good, expect your miracle." And that's the truth. You are not waiting for prosperity to appear. You are speaking it into existence. Your words are the currency of creation. Spend them wisely, and watch your world become gold. My dear ones, you are not trying to earn your good. You are remembering that it has always been yours. You see, the great illusion of this world is unworthiness. The lie that says you must prove yourself to deserve prosperity, peace, or love. But the divine truth is this: you were chosen before you began. You are not convincing the universe to bless you. You are aligning with the blessing that never left you. Florence taught that man's supply is invisible and inexhaustible, waiting to be claimed through faith, not force. When you ask, you are not negotiating with heaven. You are simply remembering your inheritance. She would say, "Man's word is his wand, and through his faith, he calls his good out of the invisible." That means your blessings do not need to be earned, they only need to be recognized. You are not chasing wealth. You are awakening to the fact that wealth has been chasing you. You are not reaching for abundance. You are realizing it's already standing at your door, waiting for you to open it. The universe is not a stern banker deciding whether to approve your request. It is a loving source, overflowing, limitless, eternal whispering. Take what is already yours. Florence would pause and let the silence settle before saying, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for. It is the evidence of what already exists in spirit." In other words, when you ask with faith, you are not creating something new. You are revealing what's been true all along. Every time you affirm your worth, you open a channel of divine remembrance. You say to the universe, "I am ready to receive what was always meant for me." When you pray, you are not pleading, you are aligning. When you affirm, you are not convincing, you are commanding. When you believe, you are not waiting, you are allowing. Because supply is your birthright, not a negotiation. Florence would often remind her students, there is no lack in divine mind. And if you are one with divine mind, as she always said, then lack cannot belong to you either. The problem is never that the blessing isn't coming, it's that the receiver forgets who they are. When you believe yourself unworthy, you block your own inheritance. When you believe yourself divine, you unlock every door. It is not arrogance to know your worth, it is reverence for the Creator that made you worthy. You are not the beggar of the universe, you are its beloved. You are not trying to attract abundance. You are abundance in form. You are not seeking permission to receive. You were born with divine approval stamped upon your soul. Florence would say, man's supply is limitless, but his vision is limited. Enlarge your vision, and your supply will appear. So today, enlarge your vision of yourself. See yourself as chosen, blessed, and already favored. Speak from authority, not apology. Stand as the heir, not the applicant. Say softly, I am worthy before I ask. My supply is already mine. I no longer plead, I receive. When you live from worthiness, you live from peace. You stop chasing and start magnetizing. You stop forcing and start flowing. Because you no longer question if you deserve, you know you were designed to receive. You were created by abundance, for abundance, as abundance. The river never asks permission to flow. The sun doesn't check if it's allowed to shine. The tree doesn't request approval to bloom. They simply express the nature of their source. And so must you. You are not outside of divine love. You are its reflection. You are not cut off from prosperity. You are its expression. You were never meant to strive, only to remember. So today, walk as though you are already answered. Speak as though the door is already open. Live as though heaven itself is cheering for you, because it is. Florence would end with this truth. Man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. And the moment he knows he is worthy, nothing can be withheld. You are worthy before you ask. You are rich before you receive. You are chosen before you believe. The supply is yours. The law is yours. The kingdom is yours. Now, all that's left is to remember. Faith is the house where your good delivers. Doubt is the forwarding address that sends it away. Faith is not hoping, it is knowing. Faith is the spiritual GPS that keeps your blessings locked on you, no matter how long they take to arrive. You see, prosperity does not respond to panic, it responds to peace. Money does not answer fear, it follows faith. And when your heart is steady in belief, the universe always finds your door. Faith is the address. Gratitude is the welcome mat. Expectation is the open door. Florence would look at you lovingly and say, "The universe is never late. You are simply learning to stay home when it arrives." How many times have your blessings knocked and found no one there? You prayed for abundance, but your faith had gone wandering in worry. You declared, "It's mine," but later you whispered, "What if it doesn't work?" And just like that, you changed the address. The divine delivery was already dispatched, but it could not find the heart that no longer believed. Faith doesn't chase, it receives. It sits in calm assurance, smiling as if the package were already signed for. In Florence's time, she taught that nothing is lost in divine mind. Every word of faith, every act of trust, every vision of good, all are stored in the great, unseen warehouse of spirit. They wait patiently until your vibration is ready to receive them. And when it is, oh, how quickly they arrive. So let's say this together in spirit. Money arrives to faith's address. My supply knows where I live. Because the truth is, you don't have to chase your good. You only need to stay at home in your vibration of belief. Think of the universe like a perfect delivery system. It doesn't need you to explain where you live. It already knows your coordinates in consciousness. But it can only deliver to one location at a time. When you live in fear, you've moved out. When you live in doubt, you've changed your name. But when you live in faith, you're home. Faith is the home where abundance knocks. Gratitude opens the door and says, "Welcome, I've been expecting you." Florence would often remind her students that praise expands and worry contracts. When you bless your finances, instead of fearing them, you enlarge your address. You make yourself visible to your good. Say this with conviction. I stay in faith. I live in gratitude. I remain in peace. Therefore, money always finds me. The universe never forgets your order. It doesn't lose track. It doesn't misplace your name. It waits for your signal, the frequency of belief. Faith is not about pretending. It's not about forcing a smile when you're afraid. It's about remembering the law. What is mine cannot be withheld. You are not trying to convince the universe, you are affirming alignment. The supply is already moving. The check is already printed. The The client is already prepared. The door is already open. You don't have to run down the street chasing your blessing. You just have to stay home spiritually, emotionally, energetically, in peace. Florence would gently laugh and say, "You do not need to chase the train when your ticket guarantees arrival. Faith is your ticket, gratitude is your seat, and peace is the ride that takes you there. The moment you rest in faith, everything begins to locate you opportunities, clients, miracles, money, all of it, magnetized to your calm certainty. When you panic, you pause the process. When you relax, you release it. You cannot receive with clenched fists or a closed heart. You must open your palms and say, 'I trust.' Because every time you say, 'I trust,' the universe hears your signal loud and clear, delivery confirmed. Faith says, 'It's done.' Gratitude says, 'Thank you.' And heaven replies, 'Here it is.' So tonight, don't track your manifestation with worry. Track it with worship. Say thank you before it arrives. Smile before it shows up. Act as if the doorbell has already rung, because it has in the unseen. Money has your address. It's on its way to your door. Don't move, don't doubt, don't wander. Stay home in faith, in gratitude, in peace, and soon you'll hear that gentle knock on your spirit. Delivery for you. And when you open the door, you'll see that it never forgot you. It was simply waiting for you to believe again. Nothing is ever lost in divine mind. What seems delayed is only being perfectly arranged. And that, my friend, is the final truth. Money doesn't vanish. Opportunities don't disappear. Your good never forgets you. They circle, they orbit, they wait until your faith opens the door again. When you step out of fear and back into trust, everything you thought you lost finds its way home. You see, manifestation is not about chasing, it's about returning. Returning to your peace, returning to your power, returning to your divine address. Because prosperity never leaves you, you leave it when you wander into worry. But the moment you come home to faith, everything realigns. The energy shifts, the road clears, the flow begins again. Florence would remind us, there is a place that you are to fill, and no one else can fill it. Something that you are to do, which no one else can do. That place is your energetic home, your vibration of peace, your consciousness of abundance. When you're there, the universe delivers. When you stay there, the universe keeps delivering. Money doesn't get lost. It simply takes the scenic route when you lose your alignment. But faith is the beacon, the light that guides it back. So instead of saying, "Where is it?" say, "I know it's coming." Instead of asking, "Why not yet?" say, "Divine timing is perfect." Instead of doubting, declare, "My good cannot miss me." Because it can't. It knows your frequency. It knows your name. It knows your address, faith. Florence would say, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. What you send out returns. If you send out worry, it returns in confusion. If you send out gratitude, it returns in abundance. If you send out peace, it returns in prosperity. You are never being punished, only redirected back to the vibration where your blessings live. Every delay is divine mercy saying, 'Wait, come home first.' When you return home to peace and faith, everything you need finds you again. The money, the opportunity, the call, the miracle, it all finds you at the address of calm belief. So, breathe. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not blocked. You are being refined into perfect timing. And now, let's close this together, not as a plea, but as a proclamation. I am home in faith. I am rich in peace. I am wealthy in words. My supply knows me, and I know my source. Nothing is lost. Everything returns. Money flows to me with ease, under grace, in perfect ways. Florence would smile and say softly, "When you are calm, you are magnetic. When you are certain, you are wealthy. When you are grateful, you are home. So stay home in your heart. Stay open in your spirit. Stay rich in your words. Don't chase command. Don't beg, believe. Don't panic, praise. You are not waiting on money. Money is waiting on you to remember who you are. You are the heir of abundance. You are the keeper of divine supply. You are the living proof that prosperity is a state of consciousness, not circumstance. The door of wealth is not locked, it opens from within. Now, stand in that truth. Breathe in that knowing. Walk in that peace. Because the universe has already heard you. Your order has already shipped, and your good is already on the way. Stay home in your heart. Stay open. Stay rich in your words. For every word you speak writes the coordinates of your abundance, and abundance never misses its mark.
You cannot give birth to your future while you are still cradling the corpse of your past. That is the first law of spiritual alchemy, the first sword of severance, the first sacred flame that clears the field for new growth. I have watched so many powerful, beautiful souls pray for miracles while refusing to release the memory of their own crucifixion. They cry out for a new life while clinging to the very identity that keeps them chained to the old one. They weep for change while tenderly embalming who they used to be with the tears of their daily attention. And so I ask you, with a love that is fierce enough to be honest, a love that sees not your struggle, but your sovereign strength, what are you still trying to keep alive that your soul has already pronounced dead? The ache you feel, that deep, resonant stuckness, the slow suffocation in the same repeating patterns, it is not because you are weak. It is not because you are broken. It is not because you lack discipline or drive or a faith mighty enough to move mountains. It is because you are over-identified with an old garment. You are dressed in the energy of delay, cloaked in a subtle shame you mistake for humility, wearing the tattered robe of a woman who once learned that she had to earn love, hustle for her worth, or bow to the god of scarcity. But that garment, my love, has become grave clothes, and you are not stuck. You are simply still calling yourself by a name you were never, ever meant to keep. I speak to you now with the voice of spiritual law, with the fire of divine remembrance, with the sword of metaphysical truth that cuts through illusion and sets the spirit free. And I say this with a holy love that desires only your complete and total liberation. Your false identity must be buried. It cannot be negotiated with. It cannot be rehabilitated. It must be spoken dead. It must be surrendered so violently, so completely to truth, that the lie cannot find a single crack in your consciousness to return. No more patching old wineskins with new wisdom. No more whispering decrees of victory while shouting declarations of defeat in the privacy of your own mind. No more dragging the heavy, rotting story of your suffering into the sacred, sunlit sanctuary of your rising. The altar is ready. The tomb is waiting. The Spirit of God, that great and silent power, is hovering. And it asks only one thing. Will you let the old you die? There is a fundamental spiritual principle, a law as real and as reliable as gravity, that has been sculpting your entire existence. It is the law of belief. This law, in its infinite power and perfect impartiality, does not judge what you believe. It does not question your commands. It simply, faithfully, and unfailingly brings your beliefs into physical form. It is the fertile soil of the universe, and it will grow whatever seed you plant within it. Florence Scovel Shinn, a woman who wielded this truth like a sword of light, taught that the subconscious mind is this fertile soil. It is a faithful, unquestioning servant. It takes every word, every deeply felt belief, every repeated thought, and accepts it as a divine command from you, its master. It does not know the difference between a truth that will set you free and a lie that will keep you in chains. It only knows how to obey. It only knows how to create. It only knows how to make your inner world a tangible, visible reality. And for years, perhaps for your entire life, you have been giving this powerful, faithful servant the wrong instructions. You have been a queen living in exile, forgetting her own power and issuing decrees for her own poverty. Every time you have spoken a word of lack, you have planted a seed of scarcity. Every time you have entertained a thought of fear, you have watered the weeds of anxiety. Every time you have accepted a label of unworthy or not enough, you have signed a spiritual contract with limitation, sealed with the authority of your own voice. And the law, in its perfect obedience, has brought you a harvest that matches your seeds. The life you are living right now, every circumstance, every relationship, every number in your bank account, is the manifested evidence of your deeply held beliefs. It is the mirror reflecting back to you the identity you have been unconsciously claiming as your own. Let this realization land in your soul, not as a blow of shame, but as the key that unlocks your prison door. This is not a condemnation, it is your emancipation. To know that you have been the creator of your own limitations is to simultaneously know that you are the creator of your own liberation. The power that created the struggle is the very same power that will create the triumph. You have simply been pointing it in the wrong direction. Imagine for a moment that you were born with a master artist at your side. This artist has one purpose: to paint the mural of your life. But this artist is blind and can only paint what you describe. Your words are the artist's only guide. When you were a child, you learned to describe the world from others. If they described a world of lack, of struggle, of love that had to be earned, you repeated those descriptions. You'd say, "Things are always so hard," and your master artist, hearing the command, would paint strokes of difficulty across your canvas. You'd whisper, "I'm just not as smart as she is," and the artist would paint you into a corner, overshadowed by others. You'd feel a pang of loneliness and say, "No one ever really sees me," and the artist would paint a veil over your face, making you invisible to the very connection you craved. Do you see, beloved? Your artist, this great subconscious power, has been listening. It has been obediently painting the life you have been describing. It has not been judging you. It has been serving you perfectly. The masterpiece of your life that you see before you today is a perfect rendition of your most consistent verbal and energetic instructions. And now you are awake. Now you will take the brush into your own hand. You will clear the old canvas. You will learn to speak not from the memory of what was painted, but from the vision of what you are now choosing to create. Let's bring this down from the clouds and into the soil of your everyday life. Let's look at how this unconscious creation plays out in the moments that make up your reality. Think about money. The woman who carries the deep cellular belief that there is never enough, that she is a creature of lack, lives out this creed with the precision of a prophet. She stands at the grocery store, and as the items are scanned, a knot of anxiety tightens in her stomach. That feeling is a prayer. It is a powerful, nonverbal declaration to the universe. I exist in a state of scarcity and fear. She clutches her purse a little tighter, a physical act of contraction, of holding on, of fearing loss. This posture is a command. When a friend suggests a beautiful vacation, her immediate, unspoken thought is not, "How can I create that?" but "I could never afford that." That thought is a spiritual decree that cancels out possibility. She speaks of bills as enemies, of expenses as thieves. Her language frames abundance as something outside of herself, something to be chased and captured, rather than a current that flows through her. Her faithful servant, the subconscious mind, hears all of this. It hears the prayer of anxiety. It feels the command of contraction. It registers the decree of impossibility. And it works tirelessly to create a reality that matches. It will arrange for unexpected car repairs. It will make her overlook an opportunity for a raise. It will ensure that money flows out faster than it flows in, all in perfect obedience to her core belief. There is never enough. Now, imagine a different woman. She may have the exact same amount of money in her bank account, but she has buried the identity of lack. She has performed the sacred funeral. When she stands at the grocery store, she sees the total, and her prayer is one of gratitude. Thank you for this abundance that feeds my body. I am a center of divine circulation. When a bill arrives, she blesses it. I bless this bill, and I send it forth with love, knowing that as I give, it returns to me pressed down, shaken together, and running over. She speaks of money as energy, as a tool for blessing herself and others. When the vacation is mentioned, her first thought is, "That is for me." Divine intelligence, show me the way. She is planting different seeds. She is giving her master artist a new set of instructions. And the law, in its perfect impartial power, must bring her a different harvest. Her reality must begin to bend and reform around her new belief. Let's look at love. A woman who carries the secret, silent belief that I will always be abandoned walks through the world broadcasting this fear like a radio signal. She goes on a date with a wonderful man, but she is not truly present. She is scanning for evidence of the inevitable end. If he is kind, she thinks, he's just being nice now, but he'll see the real me and leave. If he is busy and takes a few hours to text back, her nervous system floods with the familiar terror of rejection. She is not reacting to him, she is reacting to the ghost of her past. She may become clingy, pushing him away with her neediness, or she may become distant and guarded, pushing him away with her unavailability. Either way, the outcome is the same. Her belief creates the behavior that confirms the belief. She ends up alone and says, "See, I was right. They always leave." She doesn't realize she was the one who wrote the final scene before the play even began. Now, imagine the woman who has buried that identity. She has declared the corpse of the abandoned one to be dead and gone. She enters the date as a whole, complete being. She is not looking for a man to validate her. She is looking to share her fullness. If he is kind, she receives it with an open heart because she knows she is worthy of kindness. If he is busy, she continues to live her own joyful life because her peace is not dependent on his response time. She radiates a frequency of self-love and security. This energy is magnetic. It draws to her a partner who is also whole, who is not looking for someone to fix or to save, but for someone to cherish. Her belief in her own wholeness must, by law, be reflected back to her in her relationships. But there comes a moment, a holy tipping point, where the soul says, "Enough. Let me tell you a story." A parable for this very moment. There was a woman who found herself awake at midnight, drawn to the large mirror in her hallway as if by an invisible thread. The house was silent. The world was asleep. It was just her and her reflection. But the woman in the mirror was not her. Not really. The face was hers, but the eyes held the exhaustion of her mother and the anxiety of her grandmother. The set of her mouth held the familiar tension of unspoken disappointment. The reflection was a living ghost, an archive of every wound and every lie she had ever swallowed. And it began to speak to her, not in sound, but in feeling, a cold wave of recognition. It whispered her secret, cursed names, broke, abandoned, too much, not enough, always behind, forgotten. She felt the old shame rise, the familiar urge to turn away, to go back to bed, to pretend she hadn't seen, hadn't heard. She had spent her life trying to appease this ghost, trying to decorate it, trying to get its approval, never realizing it fed on her attention. But tonight was different. A fire, ancient and slow burning, began to glow in the pit of her stomach. It was a holy revolt, a sacred refusal, and she stood her ground. She did not weep. She did not argue. She looked the ghost in its tired, lying eyes, and for the first time, she spoke not to it, but over it. Her voice was quiet, but it shook the silence of the house. "You are not me," she said. "You are a memory. You are a story. You are a garment I will no longer wear." She took a deep breath, and the fire in her belly rose into her throat. "My name is not a wound. My name is not a number in a bank account. My name is not the opinion of a man who could not see me. My name is a word, spoken by God before the foundation of the world, and that name is whole. That name is beloved. That name is abundance. I do not answer to you anymore. She watched as the face in the mirror did not magically transform. It was still her face, but the light behind the eyes did. The familiar tension in the jawline softened. The echo of the old names fell silent, starved of the belief that gave them life. In that moment, she had not changed her reflection. She had changed her reality. The queen had finally taken her throne. That woman in the mirror is you. And the choice she made is the choice before you now. It is a choice you make not once, but every day. It is a sacred ritual. Here is how you make it. The process of reclaiming your dominion is not complex, but it requires a devotion that is both fierce and gentle. It is a daily rhythm, a sacred practice of realigning your inner world so your outer world must, by law, follow suit. It is a practice in 3 simple sacred movements. Step 1. The sacred burial. The morning crucifixion. Each morning, a new world is born. But you cannot enter this new world carrying the dust of the old one. Before your mind engages with the day's to-do list, before your thumb scrolls through the hypnosis of the world, you must perform a sacred burial. But let us call it by its true name. It is a crucifixion. It is the willing act of nailing the false self to the cross of truth, so that the true self may be resurrected. This is not a passive release. It is a violent, holy act of spiritual command. As you awaken, while you are still in that soft, liminal space between dreaming and waking, speak aloud. Let the vibration of your voice be the first sound that consecrates your space. You are speaking a holy decree over the day. Say with fierce, quiet authority, I now bring the false self of yesterday to the altar, the self of fear, the self of doubt, the self of limitation. I nail you to the cross. The identity that believed in lack, I speak your death. The identity that answered to the name of unworthy, I speak your death. The identity that rehearsed failure and expected pain, I speak your death. You are the lie, and you are now crucified by the sword of my spoken word. It is finished. Now, pause. Take a deep, conscious breath. Feel the finality of it. You have not been cruel. You have been definite. You have chosen truth over familiarity. You have created a sacred void, a holy emptiness where the lie used to reside. This is the necessary prerequisite for resurrection. You cannot fill a cup that is already full of poison. You must empty it first. Step 2. The divine enthronement, the morning resurrection. Now, into that sacred void, you must speak the rising. You must call forth the Christ, the true self. You must enthrone the Queen. The tomb you have just created for the false self must now become the womb for the true self. Stand before a mirror. This is your altar. Look into your own eyes and see the eternal, unshakable light that was never born and can never die. That is who you are. Now speak to her. Call her forth. Speak your new name. Speak your resurrection into being. Let your voice carry the thunder of absolute certainty. I am the resurrection and the life of my divine plan. The tomb is empty. I now rise in the full power and authority of my Christ self. I am the image and likeness of God, and I lack nothing. Every cell of my body is now flooded with the light of divine health. Every corner of my world is now saturated with the presence of divine abundance. Every relationship is now governed by the law of divine love. I am not becoming, I am. And my word is the law unto my world. Heaven and earth now move to make it so. I speak, and the old passes away. Behold, all things are made new. I am the new creation, robed in power, crowned with wisdom, and seated upon the throne of my own consciousness. My word is a scepter, and I point it now at every area of my life, and I say, be perfected. I speak to my mind, and I say, be peace. I speak to my body, and I say, be whole. I speak to my finances, and I say, be abundant. I speak to my path, and I say, "Be clear. This is my decree, and it shall not return to me void." I am the living, breathing embodiment of divine success. The game of life is not a struggle. It is a joy, and I play it to win. I am fearless. I am powerful. I am unstoppable. The kingdom of heaven is within me, and I now bring it forth into my experience. I am a magnet for miracles. I am a conduit for grace. I am a testament to the power of the spoken word. The lie is dead. The truth is risen. And I am she. Pause for a moment. Let these words settle into your being. Breathe into the woman you have just declared. You are not faking it. You are finally telling the truth. You are aligning your human self with your divine blueprint, and the entire universe rejoices to assist you. Step 3. The embodied walk, reigning in your kingdom. The first 2 steps align your being. This third step aligns your doing. Throughout your day, you must consciously choose to think, speak, and act as the woman you declared yourself to be in the morning. This is the integration. This is where faith becomes flesh. When a challenge arises, you must pause, and you must ask yourself one question. How would the resurrected queen respond to this? How would she handle a condescending comment from a colleague? Not with defensive anger or wounded silence. She would respond with unshakable calm, with a quiet authority that needs no validation, perhaps with a simple, direct statement of truth that reestablishes the boundary of respect. She doesn't need to win. She already reigns. How would she handle a wave of loneliness on a quiet evening? She would not see it as proof of her unworthiness. She would recognize it as an invitation to deepen her relationship with herself, with God. She might light a candle, put on beautiful music, and dance in her living room, celebrating her own magnificent company. She fills her own cup until it overflows. This is not about being perfect. It is about being conscious. Every time you choose to respond from your new identity instead of your old one, you are deepening the groove of your new reality. You are strengthening the neural pathways of faith. You are proving to your subconscious mind that you are serious. You are walking your talk, and the universe, which only mirrors your state of being, must begin to pave a new path before you. Now, we must speak of the turbulence. For when you begin this sacred work, my beloved, you must be prepared for what feels like a storm. This is the moment where most seekers falter, where they lose their nerve and retreat to the familiar tomb of their old identity. But you will not, for you will understand what is happening. When you plant new seeds of truth in the garden of your mind, you are disturbing the soil that has been compacted for decades. The old root systems of fear, lack, and unworthiness will fight for their survival. The process of uprooting them is not a peaceful, silent event. It is a shaking. When you flip the master switch of your consciousness from limitation to abundance, the sudden surge of light can feel disorienting. It will illuminate all the dark corners of your being where the old beliefs have been hiding. Suddenly, you will become acutely aware of just how often you think thoughts of lack, how deeply you feel the fear of rejection, how instinctively you react with anxiety. This is not a sign that you are failing. This is the glorious, undeniable sign that you are succeeding. The resistance you feel is the proof that the old identity is being dethroned. The panic, the doubt, the sudden wave of sadness, that is the ego, the false self, throwing a tantrum. It is the adversary, as Florence called it, making its last stand. It is roaring because it knows its time is up. It sees you standing at the gate of your promised land, and it will do everything in its power to convince you to turn back to the familiar desert of your past. It will whisper insidious lies. This is too hard. It's not working. You actually feel worse. Look around. Nothing has changed. Your bank account is the same. You're still single. You're making a fool of yourself. Who do you think you are trying to be so spiritual? Just be realistic. This is who you are. Accept it. You must learn to recognize this voice for what it is, the death rattle of a lie. It is not your voice. It is the echo of the corpse you buried this morning. And you do not argue with a corpse. When this resistance rises, your work is not to fight it. Your work is not to analyze it. Your work is to speak over it. You simply and calmly substitute the lie with the truth. When the thought, "I'm so scared this won't work," arises, you do not engage. You speak aloud. That is a lie. I am divinely guided and protected, and my faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is already done. When the feeling of lack washes over you, you do not spiral. You place your hand on your heart and declare, "That is an old energy that is now leaving my body. My truth is that I am one with God, and God is the source of all abundance. My supply is infinite and instantaneous." Let us pause here. Take a deep breath into the very center of your being. The outer world, too, may seem to stubbornly hold its old shape for a time. This is the law of germination. When you plant a seed, the most dramatic transformation happens in the dark, beneath the surface. For days, even weeks, it may look like nothing is happening. But underground, a universe of activity is unfolding. The seed is cracking open. Roots are pushing down. A sprout is fighting its way toward the light. Your word is that seed. Your declaration is the law that has already been set in motion. The manifestation you see with your physical eyes is always a lagging indicator of the spiritual reality you have already created with your word. Your only job is to water that seed with your continued faith, to keep the soil of your mind clear of the weeds of doubt, and to trust the divine timing of the harvest. Do not dig up the seed every day to see if it's growing. It is. Trust the law. And so we arrive at the threshold. A final luminous truth and a choice that will define the rest of your days. The truth, which I pray you will let settle into the very marrow of your bones, is this: you are not broken. You were never broken. You are not a human being struggling to fix your flaws and earn your way to a distant heaven. You are a perfect, whole, and magnificent spiritual being who was hypnotized into a temporary amnesia. You forgot your own divinity. You forgot your power. You forgot your name. And your work is not one of self-improvement. It is one of divine remembrance. The I am within you, the Christ consciousness, the spark of God. It is, and has always been, utterly perfect, whole, and complete. It is simply waiting for you to turn your loving attention toward it. And now, the choice. It is a choice of identity. Which self will you now claim? Will you continue to animate the ghost of your past, a small self defined by wounds and limitations? Or will you finally step into the radiant, powerful body of your truth, the divine self who knows only wholeness, abundance, and love? You cannot live in two worlds. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot wear the crown of your divinity while still clutching the rags of your old suffering. The tomb has been prepared. The word has been given. The spirit of life is listening, waiting for your final decree. It asks you now, as you stand at the doorway between who you have been and who you truly are. Will you give the old you the honorable burial it deserves, so that the real you, the magnificent you, can finally, fully, gloriously rise? Your future is not waiting for a sign from the heavens. It is waiting for a command from your own lips. And now I will speak not to you, but as you. I will model the voice of the risen one. Let this rhythm enter you. Let it become the new cadence of your soul. This is not just an affirmation. It is an activation. This is the lightning strike of sacred ceremony. I die to fear. I rise in faith. I die to doubt. I rise in knowing. I die to lack. I rise in abundance. I die to the lie of my smallness. I rise in the truth of my divinity. My mouth is a holy weapon. With it, I speak death to every chain. My tongue is a scepter. With it, I command my world into divine order. My breath is a fire. With it, I burn away the residue of every old story. I bury the woman who waited. I rise as the woman who creates. I bury the woman who pleaded. I rise as the woman who commands. I bury the woman who apologized for her light. I rise as the woman who is the light. The chains of my ancestors do not bind me. I am the one who breaks them with my word. The curses of my bloodline end with me. I am the one who speaks the blessing. The patterns of my family do not define me. I am the one who establishes a new heaven and a new earth right here, right now. I speak to the mountain of debt and I say, be removed. I speak to the history of heartbreak and I say, be dissolved. I speak to the body of pain and I say, be made whole. I speak to the spirit of delay and I say, you are powerless here. For I am the daughter of the King. I am the heir to the kingdom. I am the living temple of the Most High God. And in my house, only miracles are welcome. In my world, only grace has dominion. In my mouth, only truth has a voice. The old is gone. The counterfeit is crucified. The past is a tomb, and I have rolled away the stone. I am not healing. I am risen. I am not becoming. I am. I am not hoping. I am. I am not trying. I am. And so it is. And now, a final deep breath. Let the silence integrate the word. To seal this sacred work, to anchor this new decision in the physical realm, I invite you to make a public declaration, not for me, not for others, but for yourself. Let this be your first act as the conscious commander of your life. In the comments below, write these words. Feel their power as you type them. Let it be a holy contract with your own soul. Write, I am ready to lead my subconscious mind. Let this be your announcement to the universe that the old ruler is gone. A new queen has taken the throne. A new story has begun. For as long as you believed you were the effect, you were at the mercy of the world. But the moment you remember you are the cause, the world is at the mercy of your word. So I ask you one last time, beloved soul, what will you call yourself now? The answer is not floating in the cosmos. It is waiting on your tongue. It is as close as your next breath. Speak, and watch your new world be born.
You have been taught to believe that abundance is something you earn, but it is something you remember. The universe is not holding your blessings back. It is waiting for you to recognize that you are made of the same infinite substance it is. You are not outside the flow. You are the flow. The universe is infinitely abundant, and so are you. I draw from the infinite supply of the universe. There is no lack in divine mind. Beloved, take a deep breath and open your heart. You are not separate from the universe. You are made of the same infinite light that created it. The universe is infinitely abundant, and so are you. Every wave, every tree, every breath of air is proof that life never stops giving. There is no lack in divine mind. There is only endless supply. You were not born to chase what already belongs to you. You were born to remember that the source that made you has already prepared everything you will ever need. When you understand this, you stop reaching outward and start receiving inward. You stop begging and you begin allowing. You stop waiting and you start trusting. Say softly now, I am a divine magnet for wealth. Money seeks me out and flows to me freely. I am one with the infinite supply of the universe. Every time you speak these words, you awaken the truth within your being. You begin to feel the current of abundance flowing towards you, invisible but unstoppable. The more you affirm it, the more real it becomes. You are surrounded by provision, even when you cannot yet see it. You are supported by unseen forces, that move according to your faith. Say softly, there is no shortage in the universe. There is enough for everyone, and more than enough for me. When you believe in limitation, you shrink your world. When you believe in infinite supply, your world expands to meet your faith. You are not waiting for your blessing. Your blessing is waiting for your permission. And the moment you give thanks for it, the moment you stop worrying about how it will come, it begins to move. Say gently, I release all fear of lack. I trust divine order to provide everything I need in perfect time and perfect ways. The universe has never stopped multiplying. Every tree bears countless seeds. Every river flows endlessly toward the sea. Every sunrise gives new light without asking for payment. That same law lives in you. You are part of the pattern of plenty. You were designed to receive easily and give joyfully. When you give, you do not lose. You activate circulation. When you bless what you have, you invite more of it. When you thank life for what you see, you draw in what is still unseen. This is the secret of infinite supply. It moves toward gratitude, peace, and expectation. Say softly, I live in divine flow. Everything I need is already prepared. I draw from the infinite storehouse of the universe. You do not need to force or struggle to make things happen. You only need to align with what already is. The law of supply is eternal, constant, and generous. It does not choose favorites. It simply responds to faith. So when you wake each morning, speak to your world with confidence. Thank you, universe, that I am fully supported. Thank you that money flows to me freely. Thank you that I live in an abundant world. Every word of gratitude becomes a command. Every calm thought becomes a bridge between the unseen and the seen. Every time you affirm abundance, the old belief in scarcity begins to fade. Say softly now, I am one with infinite supply. All channels are open. All doors are unlocked. Everything that belongs to me by divine right flows to me easily, freely, abundantly, and under grace. You are the vessel through which the universe expresses its generosity. You are the channel through which divine energy becomes visible. You are the living proof that heaven's storehouse never runs dry. And when you speak from this knowing, not from need, but from certainty, your life begins to mirror the wealth of your inner world. You no longer question when it will happen. You no longer wonder if you are worthy. You know. You know that the same light that made the stars has already lit your path. You know that you cannot miss what is meant for you. And you know that the universe is infinitely abundant. And so are you. Say softly one last time, I am the evidence of infinite supply. I live in a universe that never runs out. All that I desire flows to me in perfect order, under grace, and in divine timing. And so it is. Beloved, lack is not real. It is a shadow, an illusion, a passing thought that has no power except the one you give it. There is no lack in the universe. There is only flow, endless, infinite, divine. Every time you believe in shortage, you step out of the river of supply. But the moment you return to faith, the current carries you again. Say softly, there is no lack in divine mind. I am supplied with everything I need and more. Again, there is no lack in divine mind. A lack is the language of fear. Abundance is the language of truth. When you say, I don't have enough, the universe echoes your words. But when you say, I live in overflow, the universe rushes to fulfill it. You are not at the mercy of the world. The world is shaped by your belief. Say softly, I dissolve every thought of not enough. I replace it with faith in infinite supply. Every fear of loss is a fog that hides your blessing. Every doubt about your worth delays your miracle. But the moment you choose to believe again, the fog clears, and what was always yours appears. You were never meant to live in survival. You were meant to live in creation. You were not sent here to worry about what you will eat, wear, or earn. You were sent here to remember that the universe provides for all who trust. Say softly, I am free from the illusion of lack. I see only abundance. Everything I desire is already prepared. When you look at life through eyes of fear, everything seems small. When you look through eyes of faith, everything expands. The same opportunity that looked impossible begins to unfold. The same delay that felt heavy begins to reveal divine timing. The same situation that seemed closed begins to open. You are not a victim of lack. You are a creator of plenty. And creation begins in the mind. You think it, you speak it, you feel it, and then you see it. Your thoughts are blueprints, and your emotions are the builders. Whatever you dwell upon, you invite into form. Say softly, I speak abundance. I live abundance. And so, abundance appears everywhere I go. The energy of lack whispers, there is not enough for everyone. The truth says, there is more than enough for all. The energy of fear says, if I give, I will lose. The truth says, when I give, I expand. The energy of worry says, what if it doesn't happen? The truth says, it is already done. Beloved, every time you affirm truth, illusion dissolves. You are not changing the universe. You are remembering how it already works. Abundance does not begin outside you. It begins in your consciousness. The more you expect good, the more good rushes to meet you. The more you bless what you have, the more it multiplies. The more you trust, the faster it flows. Say softly, I trust the process of divine supply. I live in perfect circulation of wealth, peace, and opportunity. There is no need to force. There is no need to chase. What is meant for you cannot be kept from you. Your only task is to align your thoughts with truth. When you do, everything begins to rearrange itself in your favor. When your energy says, I am safe. Money, your heart says, I'm worthy, doors open. When your spirit says, I am one with abundance, miracles unfold. Say softly, I release fear. I release doubt. I release worry. I am one with abundance now. You are not meant to chase money. Money is meant to follow your peace. You are not meant to beg the universe. The universe is meant to respond to your faith. You are not meant to compete for supply. You are meant to cooperate with it. Because there is no competition in infinity. There is only creation. There is only flow. There is only the quiet that what belongs to you will arrive, and nothing can stop it. Say softly one last time. The illusion of lack is gone. I see only abundance. I live in infinite supply, and all that I need flows to me now. And so it is. Beloved, everything in this universe moves by the law of circulation. What flows lives. What is held in fear begins to fade. Money is not meant to be clutched. It is meant to move. Love is not meant to be stored. It is meant to be shared. Faith is not meant to be silent. It is meant to speak. Every blessing multiplies through movement. Say softly now, I am part of divine circulation. I give freely, I receive abundantly, and my supply never ends. Again, I give freely, I receive abundantly. When you hold back, you interrupt the rhythm of life. When you give in faith, you invite multiplication. Every act of generosity sends a message to the universe. I trust that there is more. And the universe always responds to trust. Fear says, hold tightly. Faith says, let go. Fear says, what if it never returns? Faith says, it always comes back multiplied. Your choice determines your flow. Say softly, everything I give returns multiplied. Every good I send out comes back with increase. My giving creates my receiving. Think of money like a river. When the river flows, it stays alive, sparkling, fresh, renewing. But when you block it, it grows stagnant. So it is with your blessings. Every time you release money in peace, paying bills, giving gifts, supporting others. You are saying, I am not afraid. I trust divine supply, and that trust turns every dollar into a seed that grows. Say softly, I pay in peace. I give with joy. I release with faith. Beloved, money is energy. It listens to the vibration of your emotion. When you spend with fear, it leaves quietly. When you spend with love, it returns with friends. When you give with gratitude, it grows roots in your life. That is how circulation becomes creation. You were never meant to live by hoarding. You were meant to live by harmony. You were never meant to clutch what you have. You were meant to trust what flows through you. You are not the owner of supply. You are the channel through which supply moves. And the clearer the channel, the faster the flow. Say softly, I am a clear channel of abundance. Money flows through me freely and returns abundantly. Again, money flows through me freely and returns abundantly. Every time you give with peace, you declare your faith louder than your fear. You prove that you trust the law of divine compensation. The universe cannot help but refill what you release. It rushes to fill every open hand, every open heart, every open mind. Beloved, there is no loss in giving. What leaves your life through love always returns multiplied. What is released in fear is gone, but what is released in faith becomes your harvest. This is the sacred cycle: give, receive, grow, give again. Say softly, I give because I am rich. I receive because I am open. I expand because I am free. Every generous act aligns you with divine rhythm. Every grateful payment anchors you in abundance. Every blessing you send out blesses you twice, once when you give it and once when it returns. So bless every transaction. Bless every bill. Bless every exchange. Say to yourself, as this leaves my hands, it multiplies in the universe and returns in perfect ways. You are never losing. You are circulating. You are never decreasing. You are preparing for increase. Beloved, abundance flows in waves. When you breathe out, you make space to breathe in. When you release, you make room to receive. When you trust, you make room for miracles. This is the law of life, and life never stops moving. Say softly, I am in rhythm with the universe. I give with ease. I receive with grace. I live in endless circulation of good. Feel how peaceful that truth is. No resistance, no fear, only flow. You are not waiting for prosperity to arrive. You are standing in the middle of it. You are not chasing blessings. You are breathing them in and out like light. And the more you flow, the more the universe flows through you. Say softly one final time, I live in divine circulation. I give in love, I receive in abundance, and my supply is infinite. And so it is. Beloved, words begin creation, but emotion completes it. You can speak of abundance all day, yet if you feel fear within, your vibration stays closed. To call in abundance, you must feel abundant. To attract wealth, you must vibrate wealth. Your emotion is the magnet. Your peace is the proof. Your joy is the signal that tells the universe, I am ready. Say softly now, I feel rich in spirit, therefore riches appear in form. Again, I feel rich in spirit, therefore riches appear in form. Every time you speak those words, your body begins to remember the truth. You were never meant to chase what you can become. You were meant to embody it. When you walk with peace, you invite prosperity. When you smile with gratitude, you unlock divine doors. When you wake with faith, you create momentum in the invisible. Because the universe is emotional before it is material. It listens not only to your words, but to your vibration. Say softly, my emotions are magnetic. When I feel peace, I attract provision. When I feel joy, I attract increase. When I feel gratitude, I attract miracles. Let those words sink into your heart. Every emotion you choose becomes a signal. Fear says, I do not trust. Faith says, it is already done. Anxiety says, I must make it happen. Peace says, it is happening for me. Beloved, you cannot rise into wealth while carrying worry. You cannot open to blessing while holding on to fear. So release it now. Release the need to control. Release the story of struggle. Release the idea that success must be earned through exhaustion. You are not rewarded for suffering. You are rewarded for believing. Say softly, I am calm, confident, and connected to abundance. Again, I am calm, confident, and connected to abundance. Each time you speak that, your nervous system relaxes. Your body begins to align with your spirit. Your mind quiets. And that silence becomes the doorway through which manifestation enters. Beloved, abundance is a frequency, not a formula. It cannot be forced. It can only be felt. The moment you feel the joy of already having it, the universe moves mountains to match your vibration. You do not chase it, you call it by emotion. Say softly, I feel abundant now. I feel safe now. I feel worthy now. And because I feel it, it comes. Imagine yourself already living in your answered prayer. See your home filled with peace. See your table overflowing with purpose. See your days radiant with purpose. See your account blessed, your family smiling, your mind serene. The more real it feels within, the faster it becomes real without. This is the divine secret, to prepare your heart for what you ask for. If you feel fear, you are preparing for delay. If you feel faith, you are preparing for delivery. Say softly, I prepare for my blessings with joy. I expect miracles with gratitude. I receive abundance with ease. Every word becomes a seed. Every emotion becomes water. Together, they bloom into the garden of your reality. So tend to your inner garden with love. Speak life into your emotions. Turn doubt into excitement. Turn fear into readiness. Turn waiting into gratitude. The universe responds to the emotion of completion. When you feel as though it is already done, you become irresistible to the outcome. The unseen begins to arrange itself in your favor. And what once felt far begins to feel natural. Say softly now, I am one with abundance. I am aligned with peace. I am tuned to prosperity. Again slower, I am tuned to prosperity. Beloved, you are not manifesting something outside of you. You are amplifying what already lives inside of you. Every emotion that peace lifts you closer to your miracle. So when you wake, choose joy. When you give, choose love. When you wait, choose gratitude. For every choice of love multiplies supply. Say softly as your decree, my joy is my magnet. My peace is my wealth. My gratitude is my proof. Let that truth fill your whole being. Because the more you feel rich before the riches, the sooner they arrive. The more you feel loved before the love, the faster it finds you. The more you feel worthy before the reward, the quicker it appears. This is how you align emotion with abundance. You feel first, and faith follows. You believe first, and blessing follows. You give thanks first, and overflow follows. So, right now, whisper softly, the universe is infinitely abundant, and so am I. I feel it, I know it, I trust it, and I live it. And as you breathe those words, your vibration becomes the very thing you desire. You are not waiting for wealth. You are walking as wealth. You are not asking for abundance. You are radiating abundance. And everything aligned with that frequency is already making its way to you. And so it is. Beloved, gratitude is the language of faith. It is the sound the soul makes when it knows that everything it has prayed for is already on its way. Gratitude is not something you wait to feel after the miracle. It is what summons the miracle in the first place. When you give thanks before you see results, you are saying to the universe, I trust the unseen. You are declaring, it is already done, and heaven moves faster for the heart that is thankful without proof. Say softly now, I give thanks for everything I have and for everything that is coming. Again, I give thanks for everything I have and for everything that is coming. Each time you speak those words, your vibration rises. Gratitude melts resistance. It dissolves fear. It opens the gate between the invisible and the visible. When you are thankful, you become magnetic. The universe leans closer to the grateful heart and says, "Here, take more." Beloved, gratitude is the master key to every door. It multiplies what you bless. It expands what you appreciate. If you bless your finances, they grow. If you bless your body, it heals. If you bless your time, it stretches. If you bless your past, it releases power. Gratitude does not just change how you feel. It changes what you attract. Say softly, "I bless what I have. I bless what I am. I bless what is on its way." Again slower, "I bless what I have. I bless where I am. I bless what is on its way." When you live in gratitude, you stop asking, "When will it come?" You begin saying, "Thank you that it's already here." And that shift turns waiting into receiving. Because the energy of "thank you" is the energy of completion. Beloved, many people pray with their mouths but doubt in their hearts. They speak words of faith but feel emotions of fear. But gratitude unites the two. It makes your prayer one with your vibration. It turns your hope into certainty. Say softly, "I am grateful now, therefore abundance appears now." Again, "I am grateful now, therefore abundance appears now." A gratitude is proof that you believe in divine timing. When you thank the universe in advance, you declare that the law is already working. And when you know the law is working, the law works faster. Faith without gratitude is incomplete, because gratitude is faith in motion. Every time you open your eyes in the morning, whisper, "Thank you for another day of divine supply." When you eat, say, "Thank you for this food that reminds me of endless provision." When you work, say, "Thank you for the gift of service and the reward that follows." And when you rest, say, "Thank you for perfect peace." Beloved, gratitude is not a reaction. It is a creation. You do not need things to go right before you give thanks. You give thanks, and then things go right. You do not wait for proof, you bless your life. You bless your life, and proof appears. Say softly, "I thank before I see. I bless before I hold. I believe before I receive." Again, "I believe before I receive." The energy of thankfulness is the energy of wholeness. It tells the universe, "I lack nothing." And the universe, always obedient, responds, "Then let there be nothing missing." That is how miracles are multiplied. Beloved, gratitude also heals the past. When you thank every experience, even the difficult ones, you transform their vibration. You stop carrying pain and start carrying wisdom. You stop saying, "Why did that happen to me?" and begin saying, "That happened for me." Gratitude turns into wisdom, and wisdom into wealth. Say softly, "I thank the lessons of my past. I bless the blessings of my present. I celebrate the miracles of my future." Again, "I celebrate the miracles of my future." Each time you say, "Thank you," your aura brightens. Your energy field expands. You become more magnetic to good, to peace, to prosperity. Because gratitude is love wearing the clothes of faith, and love, beloved, is the highest vibration in the universe. Say softly now, "I am thankful for everything, seen and unseen. I am thankful for every answered prayer and every lesson disguised as delay. I am thankful because I know the law always works in my favor." Gratitude makes you a magnet for miracles. It tells heaven, "I am ready for more." And heaven never disappoints a grateful heart. Beloved, from this day forward, let thank you be your constant prayer. Let it be your morning song and your evening whisper. Let gratitude be your first response, your last thought, your daily rhythm. Say softly one last time, I am grateful before and after my blessings. My gratitude multiplies my good. I live in the overflow of divine supply. Feel that truth sink deeply into your spirit. Because the moment you thank life for what you have, life gives you more to thank it for. And the moment you bless your world begins to bless you back. Beloved, abundance is not something you wait for. It is something you walk in. You do not become abundant by thinking about wealth. You become abundant by acting like wealth already lives within you. Every step, every decision, every word can affirm abundance or affirm lack. The choice is always yours. Say softly now, I move like one who already has. Again, I move like one who already has. When you act from abundance, you stop asking, will this work? And begin saying, this is already working. You stop questioning how and start affirming now. You stop hesitating and begin trusting. Because action is the evidence of faith. Faith without movement is waiting. Faith with movement is creation. Beloved, every time you spend money in peace, you are acting from abundance. Every time you give with joy, you are declaring, there is more where that came from. Every time you walk boldly toward your vision, instead of away from it, you prove that you believe in divine supply. Say softly, I give freely, I receive abundantly, and my supply is endless. Again slower. My supply is endless. You see, abundance does not come to the one who waits, it flows to the one who moves with faith. When you act as though you already have what you desire, the universe rushes to match your vibration. It does not wait for perfect plans or perfect timing. It responds instantly to certainty. Beloved, your action is your prayer in motion. Every choice either expands your flow or restricts it. When you choose generosity, you multiply circulation. When you choose fear, you freeze it. So act like the river, not the dam. Keep your flow open, and life will keep pouring through you. Say softly, I act with confidence. I trust every inspired idea. I move when my spirit says move. Every inspired nudge that rises from peace is divine guidance. When you obey that quiet direction, you align yourself with opportunity. The doors you've been knocking on suddenly open, not because you forced them, but because you finally matched their frequency. Beloved, you are not waiting for wealth. Wealth is waiting for your movement. You are not waiting for faith. Faith is waiting for your yes. You are not waiting for miracles. Miracles are waiting for your obedience. Say softly, I am ready. I am willing. I am moving in faith. Each step you take with confidence sends a message to the universe. I believe. And the universe replies, then receive. That is how the law works. Faith expressed through action becomes magnetism. Beloved, acting from abundance does not mean spending carelessly or pretending. It means moving wisely, peacefully, with trust in divine timing. It means giving when guided, resting when told, speaking when inspired. It means no longer living from fear of not enough, but from the certainty of endless supply. Say softly, everything I give returns multiplied. Everything I release makes room for more. The more you practice this truth, the more your reality begins to shift. You will notice unexpected gifts, divine appointments, and unseen support appearing just when needed. Because abundance loves motion. It meets you halfway, but never while you stand still, so start where you are. Take one faithful step today. Write the plan, make the call, give the gift, speak the word, and let that movement prove your belief. Say softly, I move in confidence. I act as the universe acts, freely, fearlessly, faithfully. Beloved, every small action aligned with faith builds momentum. Every gesture of trust sends ripples through the unseen. When you treat money with peace, you attract more. When you treat opportunities with gratitude, they expand. When you act like you already belong to abundance, you become one with it. You are no longer waiting for signs. You are the sign. You are no longer hoping for favor. You are walking in it. You are no longer wondering if the universe will support you. You are proving that it already does. Say softly now as your decree. I live from abundance. Not for it. I act from faith, not fear. Every move I make is blessed. Every step I take is guided. Everything I do is multiplied under grace and in perfect ways. Feel those words take root in your being. They are no longer affirmations. They are declarations. They are permission slips to the universe, saying, I am ready to receive what I have already spoken. Beloved, you were never meant to chase. You were meant to create. You were never meant to wait. You were meant to walk. You were never meant to hope for provision. You were meant to flow with it. So today, act as if your abundance is already complete. Smile as though every desire is answered. Give as though every dollar returns multiplied. Speak as though every word carries creation. Because when you act like abundance, you become abundance. Say softly one final time, the universe is infinitely abundant, and so am I. My faith moves mountains. My actions open doors, and my abundance flows endlessly. And so it is. Beloved, now you are ready. You have remembered the truth that was written in your soul since the beginning of time. That you are not separate from the universe. You are the universe expressing itself as you. The same life that moves the oceans moves in your veins. The same intelligence that formed the stars is guiding your steps. The same energy that grows the flowers grows your dreams. You are not a visitor in the field of abundance. You are its heartbeat. Say softly now, I am one with the infinite. I am one with divine supply. I am one with every good and perfect gift. Again, I am one with the infinite. Feel those words, not as sentences, but as truth vibrating through every cell. You have never been lacking. You have only been learning. You have never been waiting. You have only been awakening. You have never been separate. You have only been remembering. Beloved, the universe is not outside of you. It is within you, flowing through you, responding to you. Every thought you think moves through its current. Every feeling you hold colors its frequency. Every word you speak echoes through eternity, returning to you multiplied. Say softly, universe and I are one force of creation. When I speak, it answers. When I move, it aligns. When I believe, it delivers. You are not small, beloved. You are not forgotten. You are not limited by circumstance or time. You are eternal consciousness, wrapped in form. You are the vessel through which the divine experiences its own expansion. Look at the stars. Do they compete to shine? Look at the ocean. Does it fear running dry? Look at the sun. Does it beg to rise? No, beloved. They all follow their nature, and so must you. Your nature is abundance, is wealth. Your destiny is peace. Say softly, I align with my divine nature. I am abundant by design. I am prosperous by purpose. As you speak, your energy field begins to glow. You start to feel lighter, calmer, more whole. That is the universe recognizing itself in you. A mirror finally clear, a channel finally open. Every limitation begins to dissolve. Every false story loses power. You are no longer the one who begs for blessings. You are the one who blesses. You are no longer the one who seeks miracles. You are the one through whom miracles flow. Say softly, I am the channel of divine abundance. I am the expression of infinite love. I am the proof that heaven lives on earth. Every breath you take is creation in motion. Every heartbeat is wealth pulsing through your being. Every moment of gratitude expands the world around you. Because abundance is not something you reach, it is something you remember and radiate. Beloved, wealth is not what you have, it is what you carry. It is the calm in your spirit, the faith in your words, the love in your giving. It is the confidence that no matter what changes, your source remains unshaken. You are safe. You are supplied. You are surrounded by favor. Say softly, "Everything I desire already belongs to me. It comes to me freely, easily, abundantly. Under grace and in perfect. Freely, easily, abundantly, under grace and in perfect ways." This is your declaration of oneness. The old identity of fear, worry, and lack is gone. The new identity of peace, faith, and overflow has risen. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer beg. You command. You no longer hope. Say softly, "I am not separate from abundance. I am abundance. I am not seeking wealth. I am wealth. I am not waiting for miracles. I am the miracle." Beloved, the more you speak this truth, the more your world will rearrange itself to match it. People will appear. Doors will open. Ideas will flow. And what once felt delayed will suddenly arrive with divine precision. Because heaven cannot resist a soul that remembers its worth. Say softly one final decree: "I am one with divine supply. The universe and I move as one. All that I need, all that I desire, and all that belongs to me flows to me now. Freely, abundantly, and forever." Feel those words breathe through you like light. You are no longer separate from your blessings. You are living inside them. You are no longer looking for abundance. You are the living proof of it. The universe is infinitely abundant, and so are you. It has never stopped flowing. It has only been waiting for your remembrance. And now, beloved, you remember. You are aligned. You are one with the infinite. And so it is. Forever and ever, so it is.
Life is a great banquet, and the universe is the ever-attentive waiter, standing at your side with infinite supply ready to be served. Too often, humanity sits at this divine table starving, not because the feast is absent, but because the order was never placed with certainty. You would not sit in a cafe and whisper your request, nor doubt that your juice will arrive once you ask. Yet in matters of money, many shrink, hesitate, and tremble before the abundance that is their birthright. Money is simply energy, a form of God's circulating substance, no more strange than sunshine or breath. When you ask for it as naturally as you ask for water, it flows to you, clear and refreshing. The law is simple. What you demand in faith comes to meet you, pressed down and running over. What you fear to claim, you postpone. The universe does not deny, it waits for your recognition. Consider how easily you place an order for juice. You do not analyze where the fruit grew, or worry whether the glass will be filled. You speak, the waiter hears, and the drink arrives. In the same manner, you may order money. You need not wonder how the channels will open, through what avenue it will appear, or whether the supply is sufficient. Divine intelligence arranges the details, and the law of substance rushes to fulfill the spoken word. Yet, many approach money with doubt, as though it were rare, fragile, or dependent upon struggle. They affirm lack, and lack obeys their command. They fear debts, and debts multiply. Every thought is an order placed with the unseen. The subconscious is the great ledger, recording and delivering according to the request. If the mind insists, "I never have enough," the waiter bows solemnly and serves up shortage. If the heart boldly declares, "My supply is endless, and money flows freely to me," the order is filled with astonishing speed. The difference lies not in the universe, but in the asker. The law is impersonal, like the sun that shines on both palace and prison. It grants according to belief. One glass of juice or a river of gold, it makes no difference. The command must be clear, confident, and clothed in faith. When you order juice, you expect it to come swiftly, without resistance. Why not hold the same joyful expectancy with money? To doubt is to cancel. To hesitate is to confuse the kitchen of the infinite. To affirm with calm assurance is to set divine law in motion. Money, like juice, is prepared the instant you place the order, and it arrives in the perfect time and way, if you will only open your hand to receive. Money is divine substance, as natural to claim as sunshine or breath. The soul that truly grasps this truth finds a new freedom rising within, a lifting of old burdens that once clung like heavy chains. For money is not foreign, hostile, or a strange intruder upon the spiritual path. It is but one of the many forms through which the infinite expresses its abundance. To separate the idea of money from the holiness of life is to divide what was never divided. The divine source is whole, complete, indivisible. Everything that exists flows from this source. And money is no less sacred than the rose that blooms in the garden, or the rain that falls upon the thirsty earth. The air you breathe is not earned by toil. You do not awaken in fear, wondering whether oxygen will be provided for you today. You breathe in, and the universe answers instantly, filling your lungs without struggle. So too is the law of supply in matters of money. It is not something to be grasped, clawed at, or worshipped as though it held a power apart from God. It is energy, circulating and replenishing, moving ceaselessly as the tides of the sea. When one recognizes this, the old shadow of anxiety begins to dissolve. For how could one fear what is already their divine inheritance? Yet humanity has been taught to treat money as something different, something less pure, or something to be gained through relentless effort and guarded with suspicion. This false teaching is like a veil placed over the eyes, distorting the clear vision of truth. In reality, money is nothing more than a symbol, a visible representation of the invisible flow of substance. It is God in action, condensed into the form we can exchange, carry, and use to bless ourselves and others. When you know this, the grasping hand is relaxed, and the heart begins to give thanks before the need is even met, because the supply is seen as eternal. Think of sunshine. It does not knock timidly at your window, asking permission to shine. It pours itself out lavishly, impartially, without hesitation, blessing all that it touches. The miser and the saint both receive its warmth. Likewise, divine substance, of which money is a part, seeks expression and circulation. It is not withholding itself, waiting to be persuaded. It is present in endless measure, awaiting recognition. Your consciousness is the window through which it shines, and the cleaner that window is of doubt, fear, and limitation, the brighter and more abundant the flow. Breath, too, gives its lesson. When you inhale, you never doubt that air will be there. You do not hoard one breath in terror that another may not come. To do so would only choke you, for life itself is circulation. Receiving and releasing, taking in and giving out. Money operates by the same law. To hold it in fear is to block the current. To let it move freely, joyfully, and with gratitude is to remain in harmony with the eternal rhythm of supply. Just as you exhale to make space for the next inhalation, so giving and spending with faith makes way for greater inflow. The problem is never with money itself, but with the false beliefs woven around it. Many have been taught that money is scarce, that it must be earned only through hard struggle, or that desiring it is somehow unspiritual. These beliefs are the bars of a prison built in thought, and countless souls live confined within them, unaware that the door is unlocked. To claim money as natural is not to worship it, but to honor the source from which it flows. To expect it without strain is to acknowledge that the Creator does not withhold good from its children. When you understand money as divine substance, every penny becomes holy. A small coin in your hand glows with the same essence as the golden sun above. You begin to see circulation everywhere. In the rivers that flow, in the seasons that turn, in the breath that moves through you. And money becomes part of that grand circulation. Not an isolated matter to be feared or worshipped, but simply one more expression of divine rhythm. This recognition frees the mind. It allows you to call forth money with the same ease you expect the dawn to follow the night. Imagine standing in a garden, watching fruit ripen on the branches. You would not doubt that the tree is capable of bearing. You would not plead with it to produce, nor worry that its supply might fail. You would simply wait in confidence, knowing that the process is already unfolding. For it is the tree's nature to give fruit. In the same way, It is the nature of divine substance to give, and money is one of its fruits. When you align yourself with this knowing, you no longer beg the universe. You place your request with calm assurance, just as you order juice at a cafe, and the fulfillment comes in due time. Fear enters only when one forgets the source. If you believe that money must come through one narrow channel, a job, a client, a single benefactor, you are placing limits upon the limitless. You are saying to the ocean of supply, I will accept only one drop, and it must arrive through this vessel. But the law of divine substance knows countless ways to reach you. It may arrive through expected channels, or through avenues you never imagined, for it is creative and boundless. To release the demand upon form is to allow the infinite to surprise you. And the more open you are, the greater the blessings that appear. The soul that treats money as natural, as easy to claim as sunlight or breath, ceases to live in tension. Gratitude replaces anxiety. Generosity replaces fear. Every bill paid becomes a testimony of faith, every gift given a seed for greater harvest. You do not hoard air. Nor would you fear that the sun might fail to rise. When you see money in the same way, you live in freedom. You ask without hesitation. You receive without guilt, and you release without fear, for you know the supply is inexhaustible. The recognition of money as divine substance lifts the mind above the shadow of poverty thinking. It restores balance to the heart, reminding it that to receive is no more selfish than to breathe. It is part of the divine order, and claiming it is as natural as opening your window to the morning light. The universe is waiting for your word, listening for your faith-filled command, ready to pour out substance in the exact measure of your belief. Every thought and word is an order placed with the unseen. The universe is like a vast receiving station, sensitive to the smallest vibration sent out by the mind and heart. Nothing spoken passes into silence. It is carried, impressed, and returned with precision according to the tone in which it was released. The mind is a workshop where patterns are designed, and the words are the blueprint that directs the unseen forces into form. Each utterance is creative, each thought magnetic, and every repeated idea becomes a command that the invisible obeys without question. When one says, I never have enough, that statement travels instantly into the law of creation, and the law, being impersonal, delivers more lack. It does not question whether this command was issued in fear, in jest, or in unconscious habit. It simply fulfills the word as ordered. Just as a restaurant waiter brings exactly what was asked for, whether nourishing or harmful, the unseen forces return exactly what was spoken into them. In this way, the world each person inhabits is the result of the steady stream of orders they have placed, whether deliberately or carelessly, over days, months, and years. If you say, I prosper wherever I go, the unseen immediately begins aligning circumstances to reflect prosperity in all places. Doors open, opportunities appear, people show up with offers of help. The unseen arranges itself around the word spoken, because it is law, and the law does not fail. The difference lies only in the quality of what was asked. Thoughts of lack, complaint, and fear are orders for more of the same. Thoughts of faith, praise, and assurance are orders for abundance, protection, and joy. Each is answered in kind, for the universe is faithful to its nature. This truth places immense power in the hands of every soul. No one is at the mercy of outer conditions, for outer conditions are themselves the harvest of inner speech and thought. Even the silence of the mind is not empty, for unspoken fears and unexpressed faith both vibrate and create. The subconscious receives impressions from all these currents and acts as a tireless servant, bringing forth into experience whatever is most consistently impressed upon it. In this way, the subconscious is the fertile soil, and the thoughts and words are the seeds planted. Some seeds grow into flowers of beauty, others into weeds of lack, but the soil never refuses. It receives and multiplies whatever it is given. Most people are careless gardeners. They scatter seeds without awareness, speaking words of limitation casually, repeating phrases of worry as though they were powerless. Yet each word is creative. To say, I can't afford it, is to order limitation from the unseen. To say, money comes to me easily and freely, is to order supply. The difference may not be visible immediately, for seeds take time to germinate, but in due season the harvest comes, and it comes exactly according to the seed planted. If one is dissatisfied with the harvest, the wise course is not to fight the outer condition, but to change the seed, to change the words and thoughts being sown. The spoken word is especially powerful because it carries vibration into the atmosphere. It is not only the thought within, but the sound itself that imprints the unseen. A declaration spoken with faith strikes the universe with precision, as a hammer strikes a bell, and the law reverberates with the command until it brings forth the result. This is why affirmations are so potent when spoken aloud. The tongue is the pen of creation, and what it writes is recorded in substance. To declare "I am wealthy in every way" is to set a vibration in motion that must return wealth in visible form. Careless words create careless results. Many speak of sickness, lack, or trouble, not realizing they are placing orders for exactly these conditions. Every complaint is an order for more of what is complained about. Every worry expressed is a request for more things to worry over. The unseen is literal. It does not understand sarcasm or jest. To say, "I'm always broke," in laughter is to command the unseen to keep you broke. To say, "Nothing ever works out for me," is to direct the law to arrange repeated failure. And the law, being obedient, fulfills without hesitation. In contrast, those who guard their words as treasures, who weigh each statement before sending it forth, discover that their lives are shaped with precision. They learn to replace careless affirmations of lack with deliberate affirmations of abundance. Instead of, "I can't," they say, "All things are possible for me." Instead of, "This is too hard," they say, "I am divinely equipped to succeed." These new orders are received instantly by the unseen, and the rearrangement of conditions begins, just as surely as if a new order had been placed at a shop or cafe. Even thoughts unspoken are orders, for thought itself is energy. The mind may not voice its fear, but if the fear is entertained, the order is still given. That is why the discipline of inner life is as important as the discipline of spoken word. The conscious mind is like a radio tower, broadcasting continually. The universe does not distinguish between words shouted aloud or whispered within. It answers to vibration, and vibration is present in all thought. Therefore, the wise soul learns to cultivate a mind of peace, of assurance, of praise, so that even the silent orders placed are those of harmony and abundance. Repetition strengthens the order. A single statement may begin the process, but a thought repeated, a phrase affirmed daily, becomes deeply imprinted upon the subconscious and acts with greater power. Just as a path across a field is formed by many steps, so the groove of belief is deepened by constant repetition. The subconscious then acts automatically, carrying out the order without effort, arranging outer conditions in line with the inner command. When one says, "Money flows to me freely," day after day with conviction, the subconscious accepts this as truth, and money begins to appear in ways that may have seemed impossible before. The law is always active, always attentive. It does not rest or delay. It is impartial and exact. What you order with your words and thoughts, you will eat at the banquet of life. If your plate is filled with bitterness, know that bitter words and fearful thoughts were ordered in the past. If your table is spread with joy and wealth, know that joyful thoughts and faithful words placed those orders. The menu is infinite, and the waiter never denies. What changes is the choice of the one who orders. To know this is to awaken to responsibility, but also to freedom. For nothing is withheld from the one who places the right order. Faith, filled expectancy calls forth supply without delay. The unseen responds not to wishful hoping, nor to timid pleading, but to the radiant certainty that what is asked is already on its way. Expectancy is the magnet, the invisible hand stretched out to receive the gift before it appears. When one asks with doubt, the request is tangled in hesitation and blocked in fear. When one asks with calm assurance, as naturally as ordering a glass of water, the law moves swiftly to arrange its delivery. It is not the size of the request that matters, but the strength of the expectancy behind it. A crumb of bread or a fortune of gold are equal in the eyes of divine substance. What determines the speed of manifestation is the clear conviction that it is already provided. Faith is not blind belief. It is inner knowing. The recognition that the invisible is as real as the visible, and that the unseen supply is as close as the breath in your body. Expectancy is the outward posture of this inner knowing. The one who expects does not glance nervously around to see whether the answer is coming. They rest in the assurance that it cannot fail to arrive. Just as you expect the sun to rise without questioning its schedule, so too must you expect your supply to appear without questioning the channels through which it may come. The law is certain, and it never falters. Children demonstrate this truth most purely. When a child asks a parent for food, the expectancy is immediate. The child does not wonder whether the parent can provide, nor calculate the means by which it will be given. The child simply expects, and the need is met. That is faith in its simplicity, and that is the very attitude that calls forth supply from the universe. Adults, weighed down by fear and false teaching, cloud their expectancy with worry. They ask, but then undo the request with anxious thoughts. They place an order, then cancel it in doubt, then place it again in desperation. The law cannot work efficiently under such conditions. The clear, unwavering expectancy of faith is what sets it free to act without delay. Consider the farmer who plants a seed. He does not dig it up each day to see whether it has begun to sprout. He plants, waters, and expects the harvest. His expectancy calls forth growth. For expectancy keeps him steady in his work. If he doubted, he might neglect the field or abandon it entirely, and the harvest would be lost. Expectancy fuels action as much as it fuels manifestation. It keeps the heart aligned with the unseen process until the visible result appears. So it is with supply. Faith-filled expectancy keeps the mind calm, the words affirmative, and the actions in harmony with the arrival of the good that has already been set in motion. Delay often comes not from the law, but from divided thought. Many ask for abundance while expecting shortage. They declare wealth but anticipate lack. The universe responds to expectancy more than to words, for expectancy is the deeper vibration. If one prays for prosperity but secretly imagines bills piling up and accounts emptying, it is that image which is fulfilled. If one asks for money but then checks their pockets in fear, it is the fear that draws its likeness. The secret is to hold expectancy so firmly that no contrary image is permitted. Faith must be unwavering, for it is the unwavering that summons swift results. Faith-filled expectancy is not merely a mental stance but a vibration that radiates through the entire being. It shows itself in posture, in tone of voice, in the way one handles even the smallest coin. The person who expects wealth does not shrink when spending, for they know more is on its way. They do not clutch at money with fear, for their expectancy assures them of constant circulation. Even in moments when the outer appearance seems thin, their inner conviction remains unshaken. That conviction is the signal sent to the universe, and the universe rushes to honor it. The law of expectancy is impartial, just as all divine law is impartial. It delivers both the expected lack and the expected abundance. The pessimist who continually expects failure finds failure meeting him at every corner. The optimist who expects success discovers doors opening in surprising ways. Both are exercising the same law. The difference is only in the quality of their expectancy. Faith directs the law toward good, while fear directs the law toward limitation. This is why cultivating expectancy is so vital, for it is always operating, whether one is conscious of it or not. Expectancy also creates readiness. The person who expects supply prepares for it, makes room for it, and therefore recognizes it when it comes. Without expectancy, blessings may pass unnoticed. Opportunities may be ignored because the mind was not prepared to see them. To expect is to tune the inner vision so that the outer manifestation is recognized and embraced. Many times the supply is already present, but lack of expectancy blinds the eyes to it. Faith-filled expectancy clears the vision, allowing one to grasp what has been there all along. The atmosphere of expectancy draws others as well. Those who walk in faith carry a magnetic quality, attracting cooperation, goodwill, and unexpected assistance. People are drawn to the one who radiates assurance, for assurance inspires trust, even without words. Faith-filled expectancy creates currents in the unseen and influences conditions to bend in one's favor. Just as a confident speaker compels attention more than a hesitant one, so a confident soul compels the law of supply more than one who doubts. Expectancy is not arrogance, it is humility before divine law. It is the acknowledgement that the universe is faithful, that God's substance is inexhaustible, and that it is not dependent on personal struggle or strain. To expect supply is to honor the source, to declare that it does not fail. It is to align oneself with the very nature of creation, which is abundance continually expressing itself. Faith-filled expectancy is gratitude in advance, thanksgiving before the gift is visible, joy in the certainty that the order has already been filled. The more one practices expectancy, the more natural it becomes. At first, the mind may wander into doubt, for years of conditioning have trained it to expect struggle. But as one deliberately replaces doubt with assurance, the groove of faith deepens, and expectancy grows steady. It becomes the natural state, as effortless as breathing. In this state, supply flows continuously, for the channels remain open, unobstructed by fear or hesitation. What was once a struggle becomes a rhythm, a constant outpouring of provision that meets every need with perfect timing. Doubt and fear are cancelled orders to the universe. The law of supply is precise, exact, and unwavering, but it requires a clear instruction. The moment a request is issued in faith, unseen forces move to arrange its fulfillment. Yet when doubt creeps in, it is as if the command has been withdrawn, the order retracted, the invisible kitchen left without direction. The law does not argue or persuade, it obeys. A request made with faith sets everything in motion, but the introduction of fear or disbelief signals to the law that the order is no longer valid, and so the process halts. Imagine a person sitting at a table in a restaurant. They order a meal with confidence, but when the waiter departs, they call him back and say, "Cancel it, I am not sure if I can afford it." Then moments later, they place the order again, only to recall the waiter once more and say, "On second thought, I doubt the cook can prepare it the way I want." This back and forth may continue endlessly, but no food ever arrives. Because the kitchen cannot complete what has never been firmly allowed to proceed. Such is the effect of doubt and fear upon the orders we place with the unseen. Faith is the open channel. It is the signal that keeps the current of divine substance flowing. Doubt and fear act as blockages, shutting off the current, cutting the wires, severing the flow. It does not matter how many times one asks for abundance, if each request is followed by a thought of suspicion. The universe is impartial and its law is literal. It reads doubt as a cancellation. It reads fear as a withdrawal. And so the good that was rushing toward you pauses, waiting for a clear signal once again. Many souls unknowingly live in this cycle of ordering and canceling. They affirm prosperity in the morning, yet by afternoon they rehearse stories of bills and shortages. They visualize abundance, but moments later they mutter about what they lack. Each time fear speaks louder than faith, the order is nullified. Each time doubt enters the mind, the unseen pauses its delivery. They wonder why results are slow, not realizing they have interrupted the process repeatedly with contrary vibrations. Doubt is not simply uncertainty. It is a command. It is the act of saying to the universe, "I revoke my request. I no longer believe it is possible." Fear is not merely an emotion. It is an instruction. It tells the unseen, "Do not bring me what I asked for, bring me instead the likeness of this fear." And so the law obeys, delivering more of what is feared, reinforcing the illusion of limitation. Thus the one who fears lack attracts lack. The one who fears sickness attracts sickness, for fear is an active ordering force just as faith is. This is why guarding the mind is so essential. The law cannot be deceived by outward speech alone. One may affirm abundance with the lips, but if the heart quivers with fear, it is the vibration of fear that is honored. The unseen does not respond to words alone, but to the belief behind them. It is not enough to repeat affirmations mechanically, the spirit of faith must animate them. Otherwise, they are countermanded by the silent orders of doubt within. The remedy lies in persistence. Faith must be chosen again and again, until it becomes the dominant vibration. Each time doubt arises, it must be recognized as a cancellation and replaced immediately with a renewed affirmation. Each time fear whispers, it must be answered with a louder declaration of truth. In this way, the inner signal is kept steady, and the order remains firm. The universe then proceeds without interruption, arranging the channels, assembling the supply, delivering the fulfillment. Consider the flow of electricity. A lamp glows only when the current is unbroken. If the switch is flicked on and off repeatedly, the light sputters, or it does not shine at all. Faith is the switch left in the on position. Doubt and fear are the restless hands flicking the switch back and forth, cutting off the power, preventing the light from shining steadily. The law of supply operates in the same way. The power is always available, but it requires constancy of faith to flow unhindered. Fear often disguises itself as prudence or realism. One may say, "I am only being practical," when in truth they are affirming limitation. They call it caution, but it is doubt in another form. To say, "I must prepare for lack in case it comes," is to order lack. To say, "I must expect disappointment so I will not be surprised," is to order disappointment. The universe does not discern intention. It delivers what is spoken and believed. To clothe fear in the garments of wisdom does not change its vibration. Only faith is creative, and only faith keeps the order alive. This is why expectation and gratitude are so powerful as antidotes. They occupy the space where doubt and fear would intrude. A mind filled with thanksgiving cannot simultaneously harbor fear of loss. A heart brimming with expectancy has no room for doubt. When you thank the universe in advance, you signal that the order has been placed and received, and there is no cancellation. When you live in expectancy, you stand as one waiting at the door for the arrival of the gift, never questioning whether it will come, but only looking with joy to see how it will appear. The practice of faith is not to deny that doubt and fear arise, but to refuse to let them linger. They may knock at the door, but you need not invite them in. They may whisper, but you need not echo their words. Each time they appear, you may replace them with declarations of truth. The supply is sure. The order is filled. The law is faithful. These words re-establish the vibration, renew the signal, keep the current unbroken. Over time, the habit of faith grows stronger, and the habit of fear grows weaker, until faith becomes the natural state and the cancellations cease. The moment faith is steady, the unseen works swiftly. For there is no delay in the law itself. Delay exists only in the vacillation of the asker. The universe is like a clear mirror, reflecting without distortion. Hold up the image of abundance with steady faith, and abundance appears. Hold it up with trembling hands, withdrawing it again and again, and the mirror has nothing constant to reflect. Faith is constancy. Fear is fluctuation. The law magnifies constancy and withholds from fluctuation, not by choice, but by the nature of its perfection. Every soul has the choice each moment, to sustain the order or to cancel it. The choice is not made once, but continually, through thoughts, words, and feelings. To sustain it is to live in faith, to speak as though it were already accomplished, to act as though it were already given. To cancel it is to dwell in fear, to speak of lack, to act in hesitation. The law is impartial. It does not punish or reward, it simply reflects. The decision is ours alone, and the result always corresponds exactly to the choice made. Clear, confident affirmation sets divine law into motion. The spoken word, charged with faith and certainty, is a decree to the unseen, a command that reverberates through substance and shapes itself into form. Every affirmation is like a seed dropped into fertile soil. It carries within itself the pattern of its fulfillment, and once planted with conviction, the law of growth takes hold and brings it forth in due time. The difference between a weak utterance and a confident affirmation is the difference between a seed scattered on barren ground and a seed planted firmly in rich earth. One fades without result, while the other germinates, takes root, and becomes visible in the outer world. Affirmation is not wishful thinking. It is not pleading or hoping. It is the bold declaration that what is unseen is already true, and that its manifestation is inevitable. To say, "I am prosperous," when the pockets are empty, is not a denial of fact but an affirmation of truth that precedes fact. The law does not move according to outer appearances, it moves according to inner decree. When the affirmation is clear, the law receives the order and begins arranging conditions, opportunities, and channels that correspond. Confusion in affirmation brings confused results, but clarity spoken with confidence produces exact fulfillment. The word, clear, is vital, for the law does not act upon vague or divided signals. To say, "I think I might have enough," is to send a blurred impression, like an artist smudging a canvas before the picture is formed. The result will be equally smudged, incomplete, uncertain. But to declare, "My supply is endless, and money flows freely to me now," is to issue a definite order, sharp and precise, which the universe can obey without hesitation. Clarity is power, for the unseen cannot distort a clear decree. Confidence adds the vibration that propels the word forward. A timid voice may utter the same words, but without confidence, the order lacks force. Confidence comes from the recognition that the law is unfailing, that divine substance is infinite, and that the spoken word has creative authority. When you affirm with confidence, the vibration penetrates the subconscious and impresses it deeply. The subconscious then acts like a faithful servant, tirelessly arranging outer conditions to align with the inner decree. Without confidence, the affirmation may be heard but not believed, spoken but not accepted. Confidence clothes the word with life, and life responds. Affirmations are like commands issued to a loyal army. The army does not question the worthiness of the command, it executes exactly as directed. If the command is advance, the army moves forward. If the command is retreat, it falls back. The universe is the same. It does not debate or analyze. It takes the word spoken in faith as its marching order. To affirm clearly and confidently is to lead this army with authority. To affirm weakly or contradictorily is to confuse the ranks, leaving them without direction. The outer results reflect the inner command. Every moment, affirmations are being issued, whether consciously or unconsciously. Words of complaint are affirmations of lack. Words of fear are affirmations of limitation. Words of despair are affirmations of failure. The law does not stop to question whether these were intended or careless. It fulfills them all with the same obedience. To bring life into harmony, one must therefore become deliberate, watching the words that proceed from the tongue and the thoughts that form within. By replacing careless statements with deliberate affirmations, the inner current is redirected, and the law is set to work in new patterns of abundance. Confident affirmation also dissolves the inertia of past negative orders. Many carry in their subconscious years of fearful decrees. Statements like, "I never have enough," or "things never work out for me." These have built grooves of belief that continue to attract similar results. But a clear, confident affirmation, repeated with persistence, begins to carve a new groove. Over time, it overwrites the old commands, establishing a new pattern in the subconscious. The past harvests of lack may still appear for a season, but the new seed has been planted, and it will inevitably bring forth a new harvest. Affirmation must always be stated in the present tense, for divine law acts in the eternal now. To say, "I will be prosperous," places prosperity forever in the future, just beyond reach. The law hears, "Not yet," and continues to withhold. To say, "I am prosperous now," declares that the state already exists in substance, and the law hastens to make the outer form match the inner truth. Confidence comes from declaring it as already done, for the unseen responds not to time but to certainty. The more definite the affirmation, the swifter the law fulfills it. Clarity and confidence also require consistency. To affirm one thing in the morning, and its opposite by night, is to scatter energy in conflicting directions. The subconscious becomes confused. the signal unclear, and the law halts in its execution. But when the affirmation is repeated steadily, with unwavering tone, day after day, the subconscious accepts it as reality. Consistency builds momentum. The affirmation gathers force, like a river swelling as tributaries join, until it rushes forth into visible manifestation. Affirmations need not be elaborate. In fact, the simplest declarations often carry the most power, for they are uncluttered, direct, and easy for the subconscious to absorb. A phrase like, "I am supplied in full," or "money flows to me now," can shape destiny more effectively than a long, complicated formula spoken without conviction. It is not the length of the affirmation, but the clarity and confidence with which it is delivered that determines its creative power. The spoken word is creative sound. Sound carries vibration into the atmosphere, and that vibration continues to reverberate until it finds form. When spoken with confidence, an affirmation carries a tone that cuts through doubt and establishes a strong frequency in the unseen. Others may even feel the vibration unconsciously, sensing the authority in your words. The atmosphere itself shifts under the impact of confident declaration, for the spoken word is never lost, it lingers and builds, weaving itself into the fabric of reality. One must also remember that the law is impartial. It will carry out affirmations of limitation as faithfully as affirmations of abundance. To say, "I can't afford this," is as much an affirmation as, "I have endless supply." The difference lies only in what is affirmed. Clear, confident declarations of lack bring lack just as efficiently as clear, confident declarations of wealth bring wealth. This is why vigilance is required. By consciously choosing affirmations of good, one sets the law into motion toward prosperity, health, harmony, and joy. Affirmation is not mere repetition, it is declaration clothed with belief. To say the words without confidence is to leave the seed unwatered. But when the words are spoken with conviction, feeling, and certainty, the affirmation comes alive. It enters the subconscious not as a suggestion but as a command. The subconscious does not debate, it accepts and executes. The outer life then rearranges itself to mirror the inner decree, and what was once invisible becomes visible in perfect form.
Beloved, you are not waiting for proof that divine law works. You are the proof. You are the living evidence that unseen forces are always at work, weaving perfection through every detail of your life. Every breath you take, every heartbeat that moves through you, every answered prayer that seemed to arrive just in time. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. They are the universe whispering, "See, my child, the law works. Always perfectly, unshakably. Say softly, I am the evidence that divine law works. Every part of my life is divine order made visible. I live in the proof of God's perfect timing." The world may tell you that proof comes after results. But in divine law, proof begins with belief. You do not wait to see before you believe. You believe, and then you see. Faith is the blueprint, life is the reflection. When your mind holds truth, and your heart holds peace, your world aligns accordingly. You have already experienced this, even if you did not know it. The moment you worried, and your worry created delay, that was the law at work. The moment you trusted, and doors opened effortlessly, that too was the law at work. It does not sleep, it does not pause, it simply mirrors the vibration you carry. Say softly, "The law of the universe never fails me. It responds to my faith with abundance. It responds to my peace with miracles." Divine law is not a mystery. It is precision. Just as gravity does not decide whom to serve, divine law does not decide whom to bless. It works through every person, every word, every feeling. When you think in harmony, you receive harmony. When you speak with faith, you attract faith's fulfillment. When you bless your life blesses you back. You are not an exception to the law. You are the expression of it. You are divine intelligence clothed in human form, learning to use the creative power that has always belonged to you. When you speak, creation listens. When you believe, energy aligns. When you act in faith, heaven confirms it. Say softly, divine law expresses through me effortlessly. My faith activates the unseen. My peace is the proof that the law is working. Beloved, most people search for evidence outside themselves. They look for signs in the sky, numbers on the clock, sudden miracles that prove they are blessed. But the highest proof is you. You woke up this morning. You have survived storms you thought would break you. You have received help at the exact moment you needed it. That is not luck. That is law in motion. The law of divine compensation, the law of circulation, the law of faith. They are always present, always responding. The question is never, is the law working? The question is, am I working with it or against it? Say softly, I work in harmony with divine law. I trust its perfection. I rest in its timing. The truth is, divine law does not fail. People simply forget their power within it. They speak words of lack and wonder why they see shortage. They think thoughts of fear and ask why peace seems distant. But every moment, the law is proving itself through their experience. Beloved, awareness is mastery. When you remember that every emotion is a command, every thought is a creation, and every word is a seed, you stop living by reaction and start living by revelation. You move from confusion to clarity, from struggle to flow. Say softly, my awareness is my evidence. My calm is my confirmation. My joy is my testimony. The greatest demonstration of divine law is not sudden wealth or instant healing. It is the quiet transformation within you. When your heart softens instead of hardens, when your spirit chooses peace over panic, when you walk in trust instead of tension, that is divine law rewriting your life from the inside out. And soon, the outer world catches up. Situations shift, doors open, people change. Not because you begged for it, but because you became it. Say softly, I am the living reflection of divine order. Everything in my life unfolds through perfect law. The universe confirms my faith daily. Beloved, remember this eternal truth. You are not separate from divine law. You are its manifestation. You are its proof, its evidence, its living success story. And every time you choose love instead of fear, every time you bless instead of complain, every time you believe instead of doubt, you strengthen the bridge between heaven and earth. Say softly, one final decree for this section. I am the evidence that divine law works. I walk as peace. I speak as faith. I live as proof. Everything in my world bears witness that God's law is perfect, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, divine law never stops. It never sleeps. It never waits for your permission to work, because it is the rhythm of creation itself. From the rising of the sun to the beating of your heart, from the orbit of planets to the flow of breath, everything is governed by law. And that same law moves through your life, responding to your words, mirroring your faith, reflecting your vibration, whether you are aware of it or not. Say softly, divine law works perfectly through me. Even when I forget, it remembers. Even when I doubt, it holds me. Just as gravity does not turn off when you sleep, divine law does not turn off when you fear. It continues, patiently translating your inner world into outer results. It takes the tone of your thoughts and sculpts it into circumstance. It takes the shape of your emotion and paints it across your reality. You cannot escape it, beloved, because you are part of it. You are made of the same divine substance that moves galaxies. You are not separate from law. You are its living expression. Say softly, I am one with the divine order of life. I am never outside the flow of creation. I live within the perfection of divine law. The moment you speak a word, the law begins to arrange matter around that word. When you say, I can't, when you say, I can, the law obeys. When you say, it's hard, it shows you hardness. When you say, it's easy, it softens the path. Because divine law does not judge, it simply responds. Say softly, the law responds to my faith. The law multiplies my peace. The law manifests my belief. Many souls wonder why their prayers seem unanswered, but the truth is, no prayer is ever unheard. Every thought, every feeling, every affirmation is a seed planted in spiritual soil. And like all seeds, it grows according to its nature. A seed of fear produces more fear. A seed of joy produces joy. A seed of faith produces miracles. Beloved, the harvest always matches the seed, not because the law is unfair, but because the law is precise. It cannot give you what you do not vibrate. It cannot deliver abundance through the voice of worry. It cannot bring harmony while your words create resistance. Say softly, I plant only thoughts of love. I water them with faith. I harvest miracles in divine timing. Divine law is not personal, it is universal. It doesn't favor one person over another. It favors faith. It doesn't measure worthiness. It measures vibration. And what you believe yourself to be, you must inevitably see. Beloved, this is the sacred beauty of it all. You are never at the mercy of chance. You are never a victim of circumstance. You are always working with a law that listens, reflects, and fulfills. Say softly, the law and I are one. I speak and it answers. I believe, and it becomes. Even when things seem uncertain, even when your prayers appear delayed, the law is still active. Aligning details, rearranging energy. Moving through unseen corridors to bring you what is right, not rushed. You may not always see it, but you are always living inside it. Your entire existence is divine law in motion, the manifestation of thought and vibration turning into experience. Say softly, everything in my life unfolds through perfect law. Even what I don't understand is working for my good. Beloved, the law is impartial but deeply loving. It simply mirrors what continually impress upon it. That means your greatest power lies in awareness. Once you become conscious of how it operates, you can begin to use it intentionally, not to fight life, but to flow with it. When you understand the law, you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start declaring, what is this teaching me to align with? Say softly, I align with divine cause. I think with divine mind. I live under divine law. You can't turn the law off, but you can rise above its lower expressions. For instance, the law of fear attracts fear, but the law of faith overrides it. The law of complaint creates more to complain about, but the law of gratitude cancels it instantly. You don't destroy law. Just as an airplane does not destroy gravity, it uses a higher law of lift. So it is with the soul. You rise above lack through generosity, above fear through love, above chaos through calm. Say softly, I rise above limitation by living in faith. I use higher laws of love and gratitude. I soar in divine alignment. Beloved, this is the mastery Florence taught. You are never helpless because you are never lawless. Every moment you breathe, the law listens. Every emotion you release, the law registers. Every word you speak, the law begins to build upon. That is why awareness is your greatest wealth. When you know the law, you stop repeating old patterns unconsciously. You become the author, not the actor, the director, not the bystander. You begin to use life as it was meant to be used, as a mirror of your divine authority. Say softly, I am awake to divine law. I am aware of my creative power. I am responsible for the energy I release. Even those who do not know this truth still live within it. That is why it is said, ignorance of the law is no excuse. It continues to operate through them, only now unconsciously. But the awakened soul knows, if my outer life displeases me, I need only change the inner cause. So you no longer blame people or fate. You bless them, release them, and shift your vibration. Because everything that happens is simply law showing you your frequency. And the moment you elevate that frequency, your entire world must follow. Say softly, "My vibration is my command. My peace is my protection. My alignment is my evidence." Beloved, divine law is your most loyal companion. It does not abandon. It does not falter. It does not forget. It works through you, for you, and as you. And when you begin to trust that, you live in peace even before the manifestation arrives. Because you know, the law never misses. It never fails. It only fulfills. Say softly, one final decree. The law is working now. The law is always working. I am the living proof of its perfection. I am the evidence that divine law never fails, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is, beloved. There is a moment in every soul's journey when prayer must evolve. When asking turns into knowing. When hoping turns into having. When waiting turns into being. The universe does not respond to pleading. It responds to certainty. It does not answer the cry of desperation. It answers the calm vibration of faith. When you know, you no longer chase. When you know, you no longer question. When you know, the law moves instantly. Because belief is its language. Say softly, I no longer ask in fear. I know in faith. It is already done. Every time you say, I hope this works, you are telling the universe that you doubt it will. Every time you say, please make this happen, you are telling divine law that it is not yet so. But when you say, thank you, it's already mine, you speak the vibration of completion, and heaven rushes to confirm your decree. Faith begins where asking ends. The moment you stop reaching outward and start believing inward, the universe says, now you are ready. Say softly, I no longer chase what is mine. I stand still in faith and receive. Beloved, asking is a stage of awakening, but knowing is mastery. The child asks for what they want. The mature soul declares what already is. The child looks for proof. The master becomes the proof. And you, beloved, are called now to be the master. Divine law has never required begging, only belief. It does not need long prayers, only clear ones. It does not need emotional pleading, only inner peace. Because in divine law, everything belongs to you is already stored in spirit, waiting for your vibration to match it. Say softly, my desires already exist in the invisible. They are now appearing through divine order. I believe, therefore I receive. This is why Florence Scovel Shinn called faith a spiritual substance. It is not empty hope. It is invisible matter. Faith is energy concentrated so cleanly that it becomes form. When you know, you magnetize that invisible energy into your experience. But when you ask in fear, you push it away. It's like telling the universe, I don't have it, and I might never get it. And the universe, being precise and obedient, mirrors that back. Beloved, stop confirming lack with your words. Stop asking for what you already have. Instead, declare, it is done. It is finished. It is fulfilled in divine order. The moment you speak those words with conviction, you align your consciousness with divine completion. And all things begin to move toward that fulfillment. When you know that divine law works, you no longer need to check on it. You no longer ask, when will it come? You simply prepare for its arrival. You behave as if it's already yours, because spiritually, it is. Say softly, I live in the vibration of having. I think from completion, not from need. Everything I desire is already in motion. Beloved, this is the greatest secret of manifestation. You do not manifest by wanting. You manifest by being. You must become the vibration of your desire. You must act as if the prayer is already answered. And you must speak as if the universe already heard you. Because it did. When you think and feel from the end, you call that end into the present. You create a bridge between the unseen and the seen, and your knowing becomes the magnet that draws it near. Say softly, I think from the end. I feel the completion that is done. The soul that knows does not rush. The soul that knows does not worry. The soul that knows simply aligns, breathes, and gives thanks. Because peace is the proof of knowing. When you are calm, it means the law has already begun its work. You cannot see the roots growing underground, but they are growing still. You cannot see the miracle forming in the unseen, but it is forming now. Say softly, though I do not see it yet, I know it is near. The law works beyond my sight, but never beyond my faith. Beloved, knowing does not mean controlling. It means trusting the intelligence behind the process. You are not the manufacturer of miracles. You are the witness of them. Divine law performs, your job is to believe. Faith opens the gate, doubt locks it. When you pray, don't speak from lack, speak from completion. Say not, God, please give me, but, thank you, God, that it is already done. That one shift, from pleading to praising, turns vibration into manifestation. Say softly, I thank before I receive. I celebrate before it appears. I know and therefore it must be. Beloved, knowing is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is recognizing that you are one with the creative force that governs all. You are not demanding from the universe. You are agreeing with it. You are saying, yes, I accept what already belongs to me. This is how miracles move quickly. Through calm acceptance, not loud insistence. When you stand in your spiritual authority, the law bows to your vibration. Say softly, I no longer ask as one unworthy. I declare as one divine. I am one with the source of all good. The difference between asking and knowing is the difference between delay and flow. When you ask, you imply it's missing. When you know, you confirm it's here. And divine law always matches your confirmation. You have asked enough. Now you must declare. You have wished enough. Now, you must witness. Say softly, I am the witness of divine fulfillment. I am the evidence that the law answers every call. It is done. It is finished. It is complete. Ah, beloved, this is how miracles become natural. Not through begging, but through being. Not through trying, but through trusting. Not through worry, but through worship. Worship the truth. The divine law is perfect and cannot fail. Say softly, one final decree for this section. I no longer live in asking. I live in knowing. What is nigh is already done. What I desire is already given. What I affirm becomes visible, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, life is not a problem to be solved. It is a mirror to be understood. Every experience you have ever faced, every person who has crossed your path, every moment that has repeated again and again, all of it is the universe showing you you. What you see is not what is there. It is who you are. The outer world is the reflection of your inner atmosphere. When your heart is at peace, your world glows with harmony. When your mind is fearful, your reality trembles in confusion. The mirror of life does not judge, it simply reflects. Say softly, my world reflects my faith. My life mirrors my belief. I only see what I am ready to see. You can change your mirror only by changing your reflection. No one wipes a mirror at the face. They change the face itself. Yet so many souls polish the outer glass. They fix, they chase, they control, not realizing that the cause always within. If your relationships are cold, ask not who stopped loving you. Ask where you stopped loving yourself. If money feels scarce, ask not where it is hiding. Ask whether you have declared yourself worthy of it. If peace feels distant, ask not what the world has done. Ask what thoughts you have fed your spirit. Say softly, as within so without. As I believe, so I experience. As I love, so I receive. And beloved, this is the law of reflection, the silent sculptor of every human life. The mirror does not lie. It cannot lie. It is pure divine law in motion, showing you your vibration in living color. Every time you say, "Nothing ever works out for me," the mirror echoes, "So be it." Every time you say, "Everything flows easily," the mirror replies, "And so it shall." You are the cause, your world is the effect. You are the painter, life is your canvas. You are the musician, creation is your instrument. Say softly, "I take full ownership of my vibration. I create from harmony, not habit. I am the cause of my peace." Most people live as reflections of others, reacting to what they see. But the awakened soul reverses the current. Instead of reacting to life, they radiate to life. They send out love where there is bitterness. They send out forgive if there is pain. They send out abundance where there is fear. And the mirror, loyal and faithful, must return that new image. Beloved, you are never a victim of reflection, you are the artist of it. You can repaint your world with every new thought, every new word, every new emotion. Each shift within ripples through the mirror instantly. It may take a moment for the outer form to rearrange, but once the vibration changes, the picture must follow. Say softly, "My inner world creates my outer reality. When I shift, my world shifts. When I rise, my life rises." This is why judging others never serves you. Because you are looking into yourself. When you see lack in another, you activate lack within. When you bless another, you multiply blessing for both. The mirror works both ways. Whatever you project must return, magnified, clarified, sanctified. Say softly, "I see only the divine in others. I bless every reflection of myself. I release all judgment and live in love." Beloved, when you understand that reality is a mirror, you no longer take things personally. You no longer fight against life. You listen to it. If conflict appears, it means something within you seeks peace. If delay appears, it means something within you still doubts divine timing. If abundance flows easily, it means your vibration matches divine generosity. The mirror is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher. Say softly, "I listen to life as my spiritual teacher." Every reflection is revelation. Every challenge is correction. You see, the law of reflection is not punishment. It is mercy. It gives you the chance to see yourself and choose again. Every repeated situation is grace in disguise, saying, "Will you now choose differently?" And the moment you do, the picture changes. The soul that understands this no longer fears external things. They stop saying, "I'll be happy when this changes," and start saying, "This will change because I am happy now." That is the voice of power, the sound of creation in human form. Say softly, "Nothing external controls me. I am the vibration behind every visible thing. My peace directs my life." Beloved, look at your world with spiritual eyes. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" say, "What belief is this showing me?" That one shift transforms the mirror into a map, a sacred guide showing you where your soul needs alignment. Once you find the belief, you can police it and replace it with truth. When you believe, "I am unloved," the mirror shows rejection. Replace it with, "I am love itself." When you mirror changes to affection. When you believe, "I am poor," the mirror shows struggle. Replace it with, "I am the source of my abundance," and prosperity begins to flow. Say softly, "I rewrite my beliefs with divine truth. I see abundance. I feel abundance. I live abundance." The mirror reflects my faith. Beloved, do not fear the reflection, use it. When you see darkness, bring light. When you see chaos, bring gratitude. And soon the mirror will not only reflect you, it will magnify you. Remember, Every time you rise in consciousness, your reflection brightens. You no longer live from reaction. You live from revelation. You no longer fight the image. You become the artist behind it. Say softly, I am not my reflection. I am the light that creates it. I am not my past. I am the truth that transcends it. I am divine awareness shaping divine. For and beloved, when you finally see your world shine with peace, you will realize that nothing outside ever needed fixing. It was always an inner adjustment, a shift from fear to faith, from complaint to gratitude, from doubt to knowing. Say softly, one final decree for this section. My life is the mirror of my consciousness. I choose love, and love reflects back. I choose peace, and peace surrounds me. I am the evidence that divine law reflects perfection, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, gratitude is not the result of manifestation. It is the cause. Gratitude is not the celebration after receiving. It is the vibration that brings receiving forth. To give thanks before the harvest is faith. To give thanks before the door opens is mastery. And to live in gratitude always is to live in divine proof. Say softly, I give thanks before I see. I celebrate before I receive. My gratitude is my proof that the law is working. Every time you say, thank you align with divine intelligence. Every time you appreciate what you have, you multiply it. Every time you bless what seems small, you open the gate for something greater. Because gratitude is not emotion, it is energy. It is the purest frequency of completion. When you are grateful, you declare to the universe, it is already done. You speak the language of divine fulfillment. You are saying, I trust the process. I trust the timing. I trust the law. Say softly, I am grateful for what I see and what I do not see yet. I am thankful for answered prayers still unfolding. Gratitude opens every door for me. Beloved, gratitude is the atmosphere of miracles. No soul can remain in complaint and expect divine results. For the law responds not to your words, but to your vibration. If you speak thanks but feel worry, your words are hollow. But if you whisper thanks with peace in your heart, even before the manifestation arrives, the heavens themselves begin to move in your favor. When you say, thank you for the abundance I have not seen yet, you step into the unseen, where the real creation happens. You shift from the physical to the spiritual, from effort to ease, from waiting to receiving. Say softly, I give thanks now, for everything now. Gratitude is my bridge from the invisible to the visible. I live in the vibration of completion. Gratitude turns delay into divine timing. It turns challenge into teaching. It turns loss into blessing. For what you bless, you heal. And what you curse, you multiply in pain. Bless it all, beloved. The confusion, the waiting, the breakthrough, the lesson. Every part of it has been working for you. Say softly, I bless my past for shaping me. I bless my present for sustaining me. I bless my future for fulfilling me. You see, gratitude and faith are twins. They walk hand in hand. Faith says, it is done. Gratitude says, thank you that it's done. Together, they activate the entire universe. They speak the only language the law understands: assurance. When you are grateful, fear loses its grip, worry fades, and peace takes its rightful place. Because you cannot be thankful and fearful at the same time. One cancels the other. Gratitude is the antidote to fear, the medicine for doubt, and the key that unlocks every door of delay. Say softly, gratitude dissolves all resistance. My thanks creates instant alignment. I receive because I am grateful. Beloved, look around you. Even now, the evidence of grace surrounds you. The air you breathe, the roof that covers you, the strength that still carries you. Each is a miracle you once prayed for. Gratitude reminds you that you are already living an answered prayer. When you give thanks for what you have, you prepare for what is next. When you celebrate the small, you qualify for the great. For the universe never expands in the presence of complaint, but it multiplies infinitely the presence of gratitude. Say softly, "Thank you for what I have. Thank you for what is coming. Thank you for what has passed. All of it serves my divine good." Beloved, gratitude is faith made visible. It is how the soul confirms to heaven, "I trust you completely." You cannot fake gratitude. It must rise from knowing. When you truly believe that divine law never fails, you cannot help but feel grateful, even for the process itself. Even the unanswered prayers carry grace. Even the detours lead to destiny. Even the pauses are divine preparation. Gratitude sees beyond the moment and declares, "This too is love. This too is working for me." Say softly, "I am thankful in every season. Even in silence, I hear the blessings forming. Even in stillness, I feel abundance growing." When you live in this vibration, you move from proving to flowing, from chasing to attracting. Gratitude becomes your silent signal to the universe. A frequency that says, "Said more like this." And the law, ever faithful, answers, "Yes, and even more shall be added." Beloved, gratitude does not wait for the ending. It honors the beginning. It praises before the performance. It celebrates before the arrival. It thanks God in the hallway, not just when the door opens. That is divine maturity. Say softly, "I am grateful while I wait. I am grateful while it forms. I am grateful because it is already done in spirit." A gratitude transforms your aura into a magnet. People feel it. Opportunities sense it. Abundance recognizes it. Your energy says, "I am complete." And completion always attracts completion. The soul that is grateful lacks nothing, because gratitude is wealth. Gratitude is abundance. Gratitude is divine proof. Say softly, "My gratitude is my greatest wealth. I am rich in peace, rich in love, rich in divine timing. Everything I bless multiplies before my eyes." Beloved, let gratitude become your constant prayer. Let it flow through your thoughts before you speak. Let it rise from your heart before you act. Let it fill your home, your relationships, your work, your rest. Because where gratitude lives, grace abides. Say softly, "One final decree for this section: gratitude is my frequency. Gratitude is my faith. Gratitude is my proof. All that is mine is already given, under grace and in perfect timing." And so it is. Beloved, the highest form of faith is not in words, it is in embodiment. To live as the proof of divine law means to walk through each day as though heaven is already within you. It means to wake up with quiet confidence, to meet challenges with calm assurance, to speak truth softly yet with power. When you embody divine law, you no longer need to convince anyone. Your peace speaks for you. Your calm becomes your evidence. Your joy becomes your testimony. Your life becomes a sermon without words. Say softly, "I am the living proof of divine law. My peace proves that God is present. My success proves that faith never fails." Beloved, embodiment means harmony between thought, word, and action. It means your thoughts align with your faith, your words align with your truth, and your actions align with divine timing. When these three are one, nothing can fall apart. Because you are anchored in law. The outer world bends to the inner vibration. So when you live from divine alignment, everything around you begins to take shape in order, precision, and grace. Say softly, "My inner world is calm, therefore my outer world flows. My thoughts are rooted in truth, therefore my results are divine." To live as the proof means to embody the qualities of the divine itself: stillness, faith, gratitude, forgiveness, generosity, and joy. Each moment you choose these, you are writing proof into your life. Every act of kindness is proof that love rules your world. Every calm reaction is proof that you live above fear. Every generous decision is proof that abundance flows through you. Beloved, divine law does not ask for perfection. It asks for practice. Each thought, each word, each response is a sacred opportunity to demonstrate what you believe. You cannot say, "I live in divine order," and then rush in panic. You cannot say, "I am divinely provided for," and then speak of lack. You cannot say, "I trust the process," and then fight against its timing. The proof is not in what you say once. It is in what you choose daily. Say softly, "I am consistent in faith. I walk my talk. My energy matches my declarations." Beloved, when you truly embody divine law, you do not worry about appearances. You trust essence. You do not compete. You create. You do not fear delay. You honor preparation. You know that divine intelligence is already arranging the details. You know that every situation carries hidden perfection. Living as the proof means you bless life, even when it does not go as planned. It means you trust that every detour is still the right road. It means you meet obstacles not as enemies, but as teachers. Say softly, "Everything in my life is working in divine harmony. Even when I do not understand, I trust completely. I am the walking rhythm of divine timing." Beloved, imagine what your life feels like when you stop reacting to circumstances and start responding from truth. When your peace remains steady, regardless of the storm. When your love remains unshaken, regardless of rejection. When your joy remains radiant, regardless of appearance. That is the proof, unshakable serenity that comes from knowing the law never fails. Say softly, "My peace cannot be disturbed. My faith cannot be shaken. My joy cannot be stolen. I am grounded in divine law." You are not here to explain divine law. You are here to express it. You are not here to preach about abundance. You are here to live it so fully that others feel it in your presence. Your energy teaches louder than your words. Your calm heals deeper than your vice. Your vibration is your testimony. Say softly, "I embody abundance. I radiate peace. I express divine truth through everything I do." Beloved, every choice you make becomes a declaration of faith. When you pay your bilitude instead of resentment, you prove prosperity. When you give freely without fear, you prove infinite supply. When you forgive quickly, you prove divine love. And when you walk with ease through uncertainty, you prove divine timing. This is what it means to live as the law in action. Not to talk of miracles, but to become one. Not to wait for peace, but to carry it. Not to seek light, but to shine it. Say softly, "I am the miracle I once waited for. I am the peace I used to seek. I am the light I prayed would come." The moment you live in alignment, you move from seeking evidence to being evidence. Your aura shifts. People feel your calm before you speak. Opportunities flow toward you without effort. The law recognizes itself within you and multiplies your good. And in that vibration, you no longer force. You no longer chase. You no longer question. You simply allow. Because you know, the proof is already living through you. Say softly, "I am divine flow in motion. Everything I touch prospers. Everything I release returns multiplied." Beloved, when you live as the proof, you bless in silence, love without limits, and trust without hesitation. You stop asking, "When will it happen?" and begin saying, "It is happening now." You stop needing validation because truth is self-evident, and your entire being radiates certainty. The serene, powerful certainty that divine law has never failed and never will. Say softly, "I am living proof that divine law is real. I am peace in motion. I am prosperity walking. I am faith embodied." Beloved, this is your sacred task. To live what you know. To demonstrate what you teach. To walk in divine alignment so fully that your presence becomes evidence of grace. Say softly, one final decree for this section. I live as proof of divine law. My peace is evidence. My joy is confirmation. My abundance is testimony. Every breath I take declares the law works, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, there comes a sacred moment on every spiritual path, a still point where words end and knowing begins. It is the moment when you no longer seek signs, no longer question the process, no longer ask, is the law working for me? Because you have become the living testimony that it is. You are no longer a student of faith. You are its expression. You are no longer chasing manifestation. You are manifesting by simply existing. You are no longer proving the law. You are the proof. Say softly, I am the testimony of spirit in form. I am the visible evidence of invisible truth. I am divine law fulfilled. The spirit within you has been whispering this truth since the beginning, that you were never separate from abundance, never apart from love, never lacking anything. The universe has always been complete. You were only learning to see it. Every lesson, every delay, every detour was preparation, the sculpting of your consciousness, until you could hold this realization that divine law was never outside you. It was within you, waiting to be recognized. Say softly, I no longer seek what I already am. I no longer chase what I already hold. I no longer doubt what is already done. Beloved, the Spirit testifies not in thunder or in spectacle, but in peace. The testimony of Spirit is silence, the kind of silence that vibrates with certainty. It is the quiet joy of knowing that all is well, that nothing is missing, that everything is unfolding under grace and in perfect timing. This is the peace that passes understanding. It is not learned, it is remembered. It is not achieved, it is revealed. It is the soul returning to its original awareness. I and the Father are one. I and divine law are one. I and abundance are one. Say softly, I rest in divine union. I am whole, complete, and provided for. I am already what I desire to become. Beloved, this realization changes everything. When the Spirit within you testifies of truth, you stop measuring your worth by outcomes. You stop fearing loss, because you know nothing real can be taken. You stop envying others, because you know every soul is on their divine timeline. You stop rushing, because you finally trust divine timing. This is mastery, to live without anxiety, to without fear, to move without force, and to receive without guilt. Say softly, I live in the peace of knowing. I live in the rest of divine order. Everything that belongs to me finds me with ease. The Spirit does not need proof of prosperity, it is prosperity. It does not need validation of power, it is power. It does not strive to manifest, it simply allows what is already true to become visible. Beloved, when you walk in this awareness, you no longer depend on results to confirm your faith. Your faith becomes the result. You no longer wait for evidence. And every corner of your life begins to shine with quiet grace. Say softly, I am proof that faith fulfills itself. I am proof that love provides. I am proof that divine law always keeps its promise. Now you begin to see that all along, nothing was random, not a single moment. Even the unanswered prayers were answered differently. Even the waiting was divine choreography. Even the heartbreak was holy instruction. The Spirit testifies that everything served your awakening. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was lost. Say softly, everything in my story was sacred. Every lesson was love in disguise. Every ending was a doorway to grace. Beloved, this is the final realization. You were never trying to make divine law work. You were learning to remember that it already does. You were never asking for abundance. You were remembering that abundance is your nature. You were never searching for God. You were remembering that God was expressing through you. This is why peace feels like coming home. because it is home. When you return to faith, you return to yourself. When you live as peace, you live as proof. Say softly, I am home in the law. I am safe in divine order. I am whole in spirit. Beloved, imagine for a moment your life now shining with this awareness. Every morning you rise with gratitude instead of worry. Every evening you rest in peace instead of pressure. You no longer live from reaction. You live from revelation. You no longer wonder what will happen. You trust that it is already happening through grace. This is the testimony of spirit, a life that radiates calm power, that loves without measure, that walks in abundance without effort, that blesses without fear. Say softly, my life is my testimony. My peace is my proof. My joy is my ministry. My abundance is my evidence. Beloved, let this realization settle into your heart. You are not learning how to manifest. You are remembering that you were born manifesting. Every word, every thought, every emotion has always shaped reality. Now, you do it consciously, lovingly, under grace and in perfect timing. You are not hoping to see miracles. You are the miracle through which miracles appear. You are not waiting for confirmation. You are the confirmation that divine law is alive and active. Say softly, with reverence and power, I am the testimony of divine law. I am the evidence that faith creates form. I am the living truth that spirit never fails. Beloved, let this be your final knowing. You do not need to prove divine law. You only need to live it, and life will prove it through you. Every step you take, every word you speak, every breath you breathe will testify the law works, always, effortlessly, eternally. Say softly, one last decree to seal this journey. I am the evidence that divine law works. I am the peace that confirms it. I am the abundance that reveals it. I am the light through which it shines, under grace and in perfect timing. And so it is, and it was always so.